This is the Puck Junk Podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Puck Junk Hockey Podcast. I'm Sal Barry, and with me is Tim Parish and Clemente Lisi. And today we're going to give our recap of the 2025 National Sports Collectors Convention, which took place this past weekend, July 30th. So Wednesday, July 30th to Sunday, August 3rd, 2025. So it was more than a weekend. It was like a Wednesday and a Thursday, plus the Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Like, you know how those movies will say it had a big box office opening weekend, but they're counting like Thursday, but now they're counting Wednesday at like midnight shows along with that. And so it's kind of like what the National is like. It's longer than a weekend. It's almost a week. So yeah, how you guys doing? Clemente, I know you had to travel the furthest to get to the National, which was held in Chicago this year. How are you feeling right now? It's the day after the show ended.
I feel good. I thought I'd be more tired, but I wasn't. And I think this National had a good pace to it. And you're right, 5 days is a long time. So you get stuck in a vortex of like time stands still. We don't know what day it is anymore. Wednesday felt like Friday. Friday felt like Saturday. It just didn't everything was jumbled together. Like you said at one point, I think everything was running together. And I woke up this morning and I was like, was that all a dream?
Is that a good dream or a bad dream?
No, it was good. It was good.
All right. And Tim, how about you? You went 2 days. You went Saturday and Sunday.
I did. I'm just over here living the dream one day at a time. I've realized that nightmares can be dreams too. And since I'm like 60% water, it probably makes the other 40% sadness.
Water and sadness.
I'm sad that the National is over.
Ah.
Just kidding.
I'm a little sad that it's over in the fact that like Sunday I did probably the most buying of any of the days. And I was kind of like, I kind of wish I could go around and buy more things. But at the same time, I mean, I bought enough things. I spent money every day when I was there. But I think on like one day, I don't think I even broke $100. I think I spent like $80 or $70 or something because I was just so random and casual about the whole thing. Like, you know, some people, especially with their cases, their bro cases, they have an agenda, right? They're scrambling around and they're like, there's almost like this air of desperation. And I was kind of like the opposite. Like, I was very laissez-faire. I think probably the only thing I was a little maybe too fixated on, and Clemente can attest to this, was getting autographs because I bought the VIP pass. The VIP pass included 12 autograph tickets, 6 tickets for specific VIP signers, they call them, aka the cheap signers. And then the other 6 were wild card tickets. But what everybody does at the VIP party on Wednesday is they trade tickets with each other. So I say, I got, I have these tickets, and somebody's like, I'm looking for Ron Blomberg. And I'm like, okay, I'm looking for Ben Eager, right? So we switch, right? But then sometimes people would just give me a page of stickers. One guy, because I was standing there, I was tearing apart my tickets, and I had the promo cards that were in my goodie bag on the table in front of me. And this guy walks by and he's like, "Are you collecting those V-Friend stickers?" And I said, "No, why do you ask?" And he says, "My son loves V-Friends. Could I trade you my autograph tickets?" He's like, first he asked, are you doing autographs at the show? And I said, "Yes. What autographs are you looking for?" And he says, No, I'm actually looking for the V-Friend stickers. So I traded him the pack of V-Friend stickers, which I probably was going to stick in the urinals at the show. But you know what? I was able to trade them for a page of autograph tickets, which I was then able to tear apart, use some of them, trade some of them. And it was kind of like that. I ended up with an embarrassing amount of autographs from most of the VIP signers, like the different tickets. And then they also give wild cards, which are good for anybody so long as their time hasn't run out. They're allotted autograph time. So That was probably the only thing I was maybe a little too fixated on. Like, oh, this guy's been signing for 90 minutes. Now it's time for me to swoop in and get my autograph because I don't want to wait in line. I want to show up at the end and, just kind of just walk through the line, get my thing signed and go. So, yeah, I mean, other than that, I was very laissez-faire about the whole thing. A little too laissez-faire. There's some things I wish I did differently, like when I used to over-plan and over-prepare for the National, and I kind of didn't do that this time. So what are you guys thinking? What are your thoughts? I'm going to shut up now, and I'll hang up and listen, as they used to say on those old radio shows.
Why don't you go first, since you traveled the farthest, as it was pointed out? Right?
Yeah, I'll just say that I was a beneficiary of many of those autographs that I helped Sal get. So I came home with 10 autographed cards of 10 different players. So, so both hockey signers plus, other people, other guys. So that was good. And maybe we spent some time at TriStar. That was a little bit busy, but otherwise we didn't spend too much time there. There were people literally just go for autographs, so that they spent all their time there, and that's fine. The show in general, I mean, it was definitely worth the trip for me, I think. And it was a really good National. Those are two examples of the cards. Thanks, Sal, for the cards.
Yeah, the only two autograph signers that were hockey players, Ben Eager and Kyle Calder, which we'll say is a little bit of a disappointment. But yeah, I'm just
but the disappointment, that was the only disappointment in terms of hockey for me. And then the show was really good for hockey. If you read my post at Puck Junk that went up the day after, you'll see that I was very happy with the show. And it turns out there was plenty of vintage and modern, and you really had to look for it, but not too hard. And in some cases you had to ask. And it was good because if people listen to our preview show, we painted a pretty pessimistic picture of what was possible. And maybe because it was
us pessimistic? What?
No, I know. Hobby negativity. No, but it was it was based on truth. And maybe because we were coming off of Cleveland. And so we were all kind of like, oh, but because it was Chicago again, and that vibe was definitely high energy. The location's perfect. We talk about that all over and over again. I think it was conducive to that. The crowds were record crowds. I think Sunday was a little bit the lightest day. As a result, it was freezing in there on Sunday. You need like a winter coat in there to be comfortable. But otherwise, I appreciate the air conditioning. 2 years ago, it was too hot, right? So there was like all these extras, It's like Goldilocks and Three Bears, right? So. But they got it down right. I think it was a great show. Maybe it was the best National that I've ever been to, and I've been to the last 4. Like I said, plenty of hockey. Everybody looking for whatever they were looking for was happy. I feel like whether it was basketball or baseball or whatever it was, there was plenty for everyone. And overall, it was good. Sure, there's some sections of the show that I'm not crazy about, like some corporate sections, the breakers areas. I mean, some of those areas I don't need to go to. But in terms of dealers and interactions, it was really great. And I thought I came away with a really positive overall picture of it.
Tim?
Interesting. Very interesting. Bottom line, I had a good time. I mean, I'll start at the end. Leading up to the weekend, I was scared. I honestly was. Seeing all the pictures and video on social media on Wednesday through Friday had me worried out of my mind about the sheer size and glut of human beings jammed into that place. And I know it's got a lot of square footage in there, but still, like every video, it was just sardines packed to the gills and lines everywhere. There was endless lines. Lots of complaints about the logistics of pushing people where they needed to be at different places and stuff like that. So, I mean, that was the loudest volume noise leading up to it. So knowing that I wasn't going to show up till Saturday, I was a little worried, knowing that, a lot of people would tend to go on a Saturday, especially local people that aren't working in that. So, we got there Saturday, albeit a little later than we wanted to. And I say we because I took 2 of my sons with me. Almost 18-year-old and a 21-year-old, sports fanatics, not the company, but they're actually fanatics about sports. But they don't collect, really. all that much. My youngest is a jersey fiend, so he loves jerseys, like all players, all sports. He just has this nice jersey collection that he's been running through for the last couple of years. The other one, he's got a few things here and there, but they don't really collect cards. I've tried to get him into it a million times. That's a totally different story. But anyway, we're coming close. We're coming down River Road, getting close. We're in this big long line of traffic to turn into the parking garage. There's a line out the door. It's down the block. It's past the convention center. It's at least a block, possibly further past. I'm sitting here thinking it's going to be another 20 minutes of cars waiting to get into the parking garage. I resigned myself mentally that this is just going to be a long day of hurry up and wait. So we, my kids and I descend the stairs from the 4th floor of the garage when everyone else seemed to be headed down to the ground level to speed walk across the street to get in the Disney ride queue. We exited the stairwell on 1 and decided to go across the skywalk. So we go across, and shockingly, there weren't that many people up there. We got over there quickly. There was no wait time. Walked in, made our way around all the different rooms and stuff that the skywalk leads to, got down the hallway. It opens up to the hall that was upstairs where it had all the new vendors. And we get up to the top, and the escalator is marked out of order, which I pointed out to the kids was a really great Mitch Hedberg joke, which they didn't laugh at, but I thought was funny. So we get down to the main floor, lines out the door, whatever. We milled around for a little bit, like, where do we go? What do we do? I got hard copy tickets. The kids are like, why don't you have it on your phone? You're old. Stop being old. I did have them on my phone. I was just being extra precautious. Anyway, I walk up to the girl. I'm like, is this good enough? She's like, yeah. Click, click, click. Go ahead. We just walked right in. Skipped the line. Didn't have to deal with any of it. We just walked right in. Because apparently the fire marshals were none too happy with the amount of people that were crushed into the lobby. So they made everybody open the doors 20 minutes to a half hour early. And we just basically walked in. So, I mean, as much as I want to feel bad for the people that paid extra for the early entry, it was good for us. So,
well, just to piggyback off of that, the Wednesday and Thursday, and then even part of Friday, those were the craziest days. And at one point, I think Sal and I were like, for the Wednesday when it opened that afternoon, it felt like a Friday, the Wednesday. Yeah. So clearly this is a destination for people.
Which is nuts because it's only open a few hours and that's supposed to be the preview day.
Oh, no, it didn't feel like a preview. And then, exactly. And then you were seeing all that stuff on social media. That was all real. And I guess after being there a couple of days, it didn't even hit me anymore. But they were talking already on Thursday or Friday, this was going to be a record. And it clearly seemed like, and every dealer I was talking to was like, oh yeah, it's been great. The show's been great. And that's how you know if it's good, if they're making money. And they were. Right. I think some of them made their money back on Thursday. After that, it was all extra. So
well, once we realized that was how things were going to work, on Sunday, we just rinsed and repeated. Right. The only difference was we hit no traffic on the way up there. And we made excellent time. So we got there super early, ended up parking on level 2. We were 3 aisles down from the elevator. We were inside the lobby in no time. It was like 9:10. So we decided to sit down like over by the little snack bar that's next to the Starbucks. Yeah. And we took a seat by the bar area and we were kind of sitting there, people watching and stuff. But by 9:30, once again, we see the crush of the line just pushing in and we're like, we're letting people in again. And that's why we found you guys. You were at one of the tables that was like right there, and we come walking in, and we're like, "What's up?" You know, like we were already in.
Yeah, where the vintage dealers are. Yeah, exactly.
We shouldn't have even been in there for another half an hour, but so that was good. As for the lines for inside, I mean, it really depended on what you did. When personalities and athletes were all making appearances, there were crowds. More so for us on Saturday than on Sunday. Perfect example of that when Giannis and all of his brothers were on the eBay live stage, I mean, it was a spectacle of people. But by contrast, on Sunday, we walked up there and Wade Boggs is on the stage, like opening packs and cracking jokes. And there's like less than 50 people standing around.
Because it depends what the audience is. If the audience is 21 and younger, which is NBA, Giannis, whatever. Wade Boggs is our generation, so we're like, oh, Wade Boggs, and I'm sure your kids are fans, so maybe they know who that is. But
my kids were ecstatic. They're like, that's a baseball Hall of Famer up there. I'm
right,
like, yes, it is.
But yeah, it doesn't. The kids today don't have a sense of history; they care about the now.
Yeah.
And so then that's disconnect. But I will say the eBay stage with the booth, eBay was really one of the bigger ones. I think if there's any doubt that eBay is interested in cards, and we know they are, but their presence in the corporate was clearly a sign that, the corporate area this year felt like, who really is serious about the hobby and how big the footprint was. And clearly eBay was the biggest. And then I think Heritage and Golden, they were also pretty big in terms of auction houses. And then, then came the others.
If the people out there that followed along on socials, I mean, about the new dealer area that was set upstairs in the hall, smaller room and all of that kind of stuff. But the main show floor, I mean, for as much stuff that was going on there, I felt like there was more space devoted to like the manufacturers and the auction houses than there has been in the past. And I actually didn't hate that because it made it feel a little more like kind of like a museum than anything else, especially with the auction houses. And I'll tell you what, whether you're into this stuff or not, Heritage did a heck of a job. And I was really impressed with the amount of items, the quality of stuff they had, the uniqueness, and just the layout that they had on the floor. I mean, it was cool to just walk through there and see all the stuff and just look at it on display and just sit there and wonder, like, how did people get this stuff? Like, where did it come from? Babe Ruth's watch from the World Championship that's got a minimum bid of $3 million. I mean, it's crazy stuff like that. Seeing all of that in one place was really cool, and all the costumes from the original Batman series from the 60s with Adam West and the original Wonder Woman costume that Linda Carter wore, and all the Walking Dead stuff that was there. Like, they had everybody's outfit and their weapons and all of that kind of stuff, and props, of course. But I mean, it was just super cool to see that, and you're not getting that at a lot of the other shows. Golden had a ton on display too. Memory Lane had stuff on display. Pristine had stuff. Pristine was kind of cool. They were swapping things out in display live because they were doing live auctions from their little stage. So when stuff would sell, it was on display. They pull it off display and put something else out there. So you were kind of getting that interactive portion of it. Now, we didn't really go to Tops. I didn't participate in the Upper Deck redemption thing, probably for the first time ever, because I didn't want to buy any of the boxes that they had available to do that. And I don't really do Tops, so I wasn't doing that kind of thing. But I miss, and this sounds stupid, but I miss all the free stuff, and I don't know if that's because it was already gone by the weekend, but in years past, you'd get to all the vendor booths and the auction houses and the manufacturers and all that. There was always tons of free stuff being given out.
No, not this year.
Even simple as like stickers and stuff. And I did see a lot of people that had stickers and things, but there just didn't seem to be like a whole lot of stuff. And the ones that did have like the promotional items to give out, it was the same stuff on every counter. A couple stickers, a notepad, a water bottle, and a drawstring bag. That was like what everybody had. And I'm thinking, I have 37 drawstring bags. I don't need another one. I don't use these water bottles because they're the kind that you hold up and squeeze and the top shoots off and dumps all over you. Right. And how many keychains and stickers do I need? Not anymore. So that's the thing I kind of miss. I think I get it, but I wish there was a little more of that. That's certainly what my wife used to like when we would go to the shows, is grabbing all the free stuff and everything else. But, it's not always about free stuff. Walking away with a pretty healthy bag of swag is fun, but, whatever. Again, I still had fun. So I didn't need to have necessarily all of that kind of stuff, but I thought it was a good layout. I like the fact that you could walk all the way around the downstairs area.
Right.
Yeah.
Instead of having to go,
through the lobby.
Through the lobby to get there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the fact that they had it all connected the whole way around, that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
I mean, the Breaker Pavilion, or the casino, as we were calling it, it was there and very lively. We stayed away from there except to use it as a pathway to get from one place to another for the most part, because it was loud and obnoxious and filled with people that don't generally share the same collecting philosophy as I do. But, it is what it is. If you're into that kind of thing, it was great. That was probably the closest thing you had to go into your favorite amusement park. To be in there. Something I didn't like, the one room where PSA had the vault. Did you guys hear that ear-retching sound that kept coming from in there? Like, it was this high-pitched, squealy, scrapey sound. I don't know what it was. It had to be them like pushing a press to like maybe put the seal on the slabs or something. I don't know what it was, but it was so annoying, and I felt bad for all the people that had tables in there to have to listen to that.
So that's a good point. Some dealers that had tables near corporates, like remember that guy who was in the eBay booth? He couldn't stand the fact that eBay was constantly, they were on the microphone, talking, yelling.
Oh yeah.
That guy. So there was some of that. I'm sure those people weren't happy because it was the whole show. There was noise coming from those places, but generally. There were places where it was, where the vintage guys are, the OGs of the show. It's fairly quiet over there, and you can actually look around and see stuff. So it depends where you were on the floor. I mean, there was areas you could totally avoid, like the Breaker Pavilion. Like I use it as a cut through if I needed to, but it was in that way it was better. They didn't put dealers in there at all, not really. In Cleveland, they were kind of mixed together because they were kind of forced by the floor plan. So that was good. Like, okay, I don't need to go there, and that's makes it easier, but. Yeah, there were some of these little things that were annoying. I agree that with Heritage and some of these other places, it's fun to look at the memorabilia because you'll probably never see it again. If someone buys it, puts it in their house, you'll never see it again. And I think this idea of making these displays like a museum is a little bit from Fanatics Fest. There's a lot of that goes on at Fanatics Fest. And I think that, there's parts of Fanatics Fest that I think bled over to this national, like having celebrities at various booths, having a lot of stuff on display, not like a little bit, like a lot of stuff on display. So people, even if you're not buying anything, you're like, oh, my kids, we got to see all this really cool wrestling stuff and baseball stuff that I'll never see anywhere else or ever again. So that's cool. So there's a couple items like that, a couple of ideas like that, that
and some really of it you get to interact with too.
Right.
Like years past, like my kids, when they were little, they got to hold Babe Ruth's bat and like swing his bat. And they still talk about that today, about how heavy the stinking thing was.
So I think people are younger people looking for experiences, and we're looking for cards or other things. So there is this idea, you got to kind of mix it for everybody. Otherwise, people won't go. I mean, we'll go until we're 1,000 years old, but some people will not go if they don't have something for other people. So and the National already has a brand. It already has a following. It's a destination. People go to it. So all they need to do is add a couple of things on the edges, and they could become a show that has long-lasting, appeal for younger generations. That's all.
I like the fact that Heritage and a couple of the other auction houses put their stuff out on display. I mean, they usually display a few things, even if it's just like things for auction. But a lot of times they're just in like the floor, the display cases that are like on the floor. Heritage, they put things in like these museum cases. Like you walked in and they were like these lit cases. These weren't just like your standard like candy store type counters. These were like nice, really nice shelving. But what I wanted to say, just piggybacking off of what Clemente said about experiences, I don't necessarily need the experiences, but what I would like is more interaction. Like, I remember, I keep bringing this up, but I remember, I think it was like 8 years ago, Topps did a panel discussion after the show one night, and there were a ton of people there because they wanted to be there. They wanted to hear what Topps had to say, but they also kind of wanted to mingle with other people. Now, this was before you had 3 nights of trade nights where you could mingle with other people. But I kind of wish there was more stuff like that. Like, it would have been great, like a Q&A with Upper Deck or a Q&A with Leaf, or, Top shows its new products for the next season or something like that. Like, that would have been cool if they did something like that. And there really wasn't anything like that. It was just like trade night, trade night, trade night.
Well, no, they did have a stage where they had
Yeah.
a very robust program for 4 days, where the truth was it was kind of boring. There was
But
like
it was all just breakers and influencers talking.
right, and there's like a crowd of 9 people, and half of them on their phones, and people just talking. And then, of course, it was so loud all around them because right next to that stage was this Bo Jackson kid thing that was pretty hot happening. I went by there one time, and there was like all these people in there, and Flavor Flav was there, which is very weird. And like, it was very loud, and I was like, right next door, they're trying to do a panel discussion about, I don't know, like eye appeal for like cards or something. And it's like, no one's paying attention to that. So that stage should not have been there. It needs to be somewhere else, or maybe
I don't know if that's what even they were talking about. That's all I heard though, because
Right,
I was
maybe.
too mesmerized by Bo Jackson's Battle Arena, and I couldn't get over the fact that there were so many people in there.
Right.
It was crazy.
Right.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And he wasn't even in there at the time.
Thought
No,
the Bo Jackson thing was going to be DOA, and it's actually been going now for a year. And I saw a dealer selling last year's Bo Jackson Battle Arena, like a box of unopened cards for like $300. And I'm like, what? Already? There's like a resale value for that? I mean, there's a resale value for everything, but I just thought, oh, a collectible card game based on Bo Jackson. This is an idea that's 30 years too late, but okay.
But what do we know? Because the other area that was very busy was the VFriends booth right near eBay, and I still don't understand any of that. So clearly, we're in the wrong business. We don't, or maybe we're in the right business because we don't know what people want. And
VFriends, Pokemon, the Bo Jackson Battle Arena, all these trading card games,
right,
are like hot.
They are.
Like, so, I don't know anybody that plays Pokemon. Like, the town I live in has one of those card shops where you can go and buy that kind of stuff. Like, you can buy those board games that take 17 hours to play, and like Magic and all that stuff. It's one of those types of stores, and that's fine. It's cool. There's people in there constantly, and they like do Pokemon tournaments and stuff. But
they have tables and chairs.
My kids rarely played when they were kids. They collected the cards, they traded them. I really never saw them play. And even now, I mean, everybody's got the cards slabbed. Like, every Pokemon card's in a freaking PSA case now. So it's like, obviously you're not playing because you have to have them in a deck and stuff. So
wait. What if your entire deck was slabbed? Because it'd be like, if you're holding your
disqualified.
If you're holding your cards, but one of them is in a slab, it's like, oh crap, that's probably the Charizard. Like,
it's like, I know I'm dead.
Right.
So how you gonna win at that one?
Yeah, because that one slabbed card in his hand is probably gonna end the game, right? Yeah.
Meanwhile, we're over here going, when are they going to revive Puck Attacks? So we have
Puck Attacks.
Yeah, hockey needs its own game. No, it's like, I collect it for the artwork. That's like what I hear all the time. It's like, well, I like the artwork. It's like, okay, but look, it's totally different though of the way we collect. But the way we collect, I think a big chunk of people at the show were doing what we were doing, which was looking for cards, going through boxes, doing all the stuff that people have been doing at the National probably for 40 years plus, right? So, I think it's the pizzazz stuff that gets the attention, and we walk by and go, what's going on here? Why is it so crowded? Why are people pushing? Why are they doing this? Why is everything so bright? But that gets attention. And then, like, the vintage area we were all at on Sunday for the most part. I mean, tumbleweeds go by there, but that's where you find the good stuff, right? And I know that Sal picked up a lot of stuff, and I know that Tim did too. So I mean, it's just a different way. It's interesting to see all these people in one single space in a parallel universe, almost. And 30 years ago, you wouldn't have seen that. Everybody would have been doing the same thing, and now the show reflects what's happening on the internet. It's everyone's in a silo, everyone's in a niche area, and the show's got to try to appeal to everybody. And it's taken the national, I think, 4 or 5 years to get there, because I think at first they were like, well, we just build it and they will come. And it's like, yeah, maybe they won't. Maybe someone will build a better mousetrap, like Fanatics, Fanatics Fest. Maybe
they've never had the heat on them, though.
Right. Yes.
This has been the show and the place to be.
Competition is good. Yeah.
40 years or whatever.
Competition is good. Yeah, I agree.
45.
But competition is good. It forces you to say, okay, maybe we need to do something here. We need to tweak it. And then even the corporates, like, what do we do that's better? And we should say, as much as I love Upper Deck, their booth was a little bit blah this year. They didn't have anything that I thought was appealing. And of course,
so you guys didn't get the other hockey autograph of Mr. Chance?
Yeah, I'd like to talk about that, actually. But go ahead.
Sal, no, I was saying I didn't get that, but Sal got it. And I think Sal could pick a picture of what the mood was like when Chance showed up.
Oh, there was a mood?
I mean, like, what was the reception,
Well, okay, when Chance showed up, I think like 5 people applauded.
I was going to say,
there were like
6 people that were there were like, what the?
They were like, ladies and gentlemen, introducing the Stanley Cup champion winning mascot Chance. Like, they kept saying like Stanley Cup winning mascot, right? Like, because he was a member of the team, I guess, when they won the championship, the Stanley Cup, whatever. So anyways, Chance was there signing autographs. And so here's me and Chance posing. He gave me this this big Stanley Cup championship ring that he wanted everybody to put. I guess people put it on, so I just kind of went with it. I'm like, all right, I'll put it on. So we're doing the fist bump, because that's what I like to do. I like to do fist bumps when I have my picture taken with like an athlete or celebrity or something. That's kind of becoming my thing now, right? Instead of just standing there with, my mouth slightly open and my hands at my side, I'd rather be doing something, right? So I got a picture of me and CM Punk doing a fist bump, and me and Phil Russell doing a fist bump, and I got me and Chance doing a fist bump. However, Chance has
How heavy was that ring?
Huh?
How heavy was that ring?
It was foam.
It was foam. Yeah.
What?
But then Chance does his own thing, and that is he likes to bite people's heads.
Oh.
So I relented.
Wow.
And and everybody.
I can't believe you're showing this picture.
I was gonna say I can't unsee that now. So.
I know, right? So what's funny is
we
that
just lost all 3 of our listeners.
Yeah.
Because of this picture.
Well, no, if people are listening, that they won't see it, but
why I'm trying to describe this, because if you're listening to the podcast, you're not seeing this, but if you're watching it on YouTube, we're doing something different. We're going to actually try having moving pictures with our audio. Or not moving pictures, but pictures and with the audio. So anyways, what was funny was when Chance would like bite the head of a kid, he'd like swallow the entire head of the kid. You just see like these little head and shoulders with like a Gia monster like biting its head. But then what you would also get is this 5x7 postcard, or too big to be a postcard, but it was like a 5x7. It's blank on the back, and he would just write Chance number 1 and then hand them to you. And he'd do that for everybody. So yeah, that was
looks like the MVP one.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, but the thing is that like what's it called? There just wasn't a lot of excitement. Like when 2 years back, when Joseph Woll, the goalie for the Maple Leafs, was signing autographs at the Upper Deck booth, there was actually like a line of like 20, 30 people. Like it was more. This was always like there would be like 5 people, and then people just walk up and get their picture and walk away. And it just wasn't like a swarm of people. It was very anticlimactic.
I told my kids, I said, Chance is going to be there, but we might not see him. And they're like, Chance the Rapper? I'm like, no, sorry.
Right.
Yeah.
He didn't win a Stanley Cup.
I'm hoping
Like,
Upper Deck next year will bring in some notable names, because eBay and some other places brought in some really interesting people. It's oddly enough, the people that didn't really bring anybody good was Tops, which is crazy because that's what Fanatics, that's like their whole thing. It's almost like Fanatics doesn't treat the National as if it's like Fanatics Fest. They're like, yeah, we have a big booth and we do redemptions and we do whatever, but we don't do anything else. Like we don't.
Except for when Tom Brady showed up.
Well, Tom Brady is everywhere because he had the vault, and he also opened a store this past week near Wrigley Field. So he was at the National one day, and then he was doing this grand opening of the store. So he's
the
like all in on
spinny
the
thing.
Yeah,
The spinny thing where you'd win a card. Did you see that?
No.
Where he walked up. It wasn't contrived at all or staged, but he walked up there to spin the wheel himself, and he brought somebody random person from the crowd up, and guess what card he pulled? His own rookie card.
Oh wow!
Graded. Wow. What are the odds of that happening?
Yeah.
Oh. And so that had to go all over Fanatics. Live.
Well, that had to be, a lot of this stuff that's happening at the show has to be on social media.
Of course.
So it's all content for people at home or for people who are going to go later in the day or the next day. So it's like you said, you were seeing all this stuff leading up to it, and you were getting scared, which is, by the way, is probably a very normal reaction because we were there and we were kind of scared of like, it's a lot of people here. And so I can see online it being like a bigger deal. I mean, there was already rumors, oh, they're going to sell out Saturday. They got to sell out on Sunday. And I'm like, sell out? Like literally, like if you walk up and want to buy a ticket, they'll tell you we don't have any more left. Like, and
that's what I was worried about a couple weeks ago when everything started to drop.
And I think what
the IP sold out, the 5 days sold out, the early admission sold out. I'm like, what the heck?
Yeah, and I think all the social media was also informing the fire marshals, and the organizers were like, okay, there's a lot of videos of a lot of people in tight spaces, and that's not really good. You don't want to stampede or anything. So that was sort of part of it was almost like it was hyping itself, and it was interesting. And look, kids are still off from school, so a lot of kids were there, a lot of teenagers. Maybe we should talk about what I would call in the auxiliary room, which I thought was very crowded and a very horrible experience. Especially Sunday was fine, but the other days it was pretty bad. I know Sal and I tried to walk down some of the corridors upstairs in that extra new dealer area, if you want to call it that, and it was pretty bad.
Oh yeah, it's so that was interesting because the upstairs area is generally where they have the Chicago Sports Spectacular. So it's a smaller room than the downstairs hall, but it's still significant in size, at least when that show is on. But this, what did they say? They put 80 new dealers up there, and each one's got an 8-foot table or something.
They used 4 rows of 25 tables, so it was 100 dealers.
But they used a fraction of that room. We should point out it was not the whole room. It was
it was less than a fraction.
Yeah,
it was a strip of the room. It was like they took the center third of the room, and then they broke that into thirds. And then 1/3 was empty. 1/3 had this big blue carpet going down the middle that went to a booth at the back of or like a kiosk at the back of the room, maybe for tickets or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it was a ticket booth.
And then the other third of the third was where they jammed in those 100 tables. And I was walking down an aisle, and I put out my left hand, I put out my right hand, and I was able to touch the tables on either side of me. So literally there was enough room. You could see from this picture here. Sorry, it's crooked, but whatever. Because I was holding it up trying to take a picture. So I wasn't taking a picture of the back of some guy's head, because that's what most of the pictures you see are, like the back of people's heads, because it's so crowded. But like you'd have tables facing each other, and like you would have one person looking at the table on the left-hand side, one person looking at the table on the right-hand side, and in just enough room for one person to squeeze between the two of them. And if
there couldn't have been 4 feet of space between those tables,
if that person stopped, then you were like, okay, I have to wait, or I have to kind of wriggle my way through. It was really uncomfortable. You'd get some people just walking and they'd stop. And you want to stop and look at the cards? That's fine. But you get people who would just stop like in the middle, and it'd be like, no, dude, you can't do that, because then like the line would back up. It was pretty nuts. It was, as I said to Clemente, it's like what they did was it's like they put a table in a hallway and called it a dining room.
What killed me was, they hyped this up, said, okay, we're going to have all these new dealers that are going to get an opportunity to have space to show. I mean, if you were claustrophobic, you couldn't go up there. You couldn't, because your anxiety would be off the charts. Like all that space in there, everybody saw how big that room is. Why didn't they spread this out? They could have added 8 feet front to back, and it would have spaced it out even more, but they didn't. I don't know why.
But when you walk in on the right, there is the loading and unloading. So I think they wanted to leave a lot of clearance for that. And then weirdly enough, in that corner, maybe you didn't even notice it, there was like a snack bar, which I'm thinking, why is that? I
noticed it.
Okay, but it was weird. And then there was basically enough space where you can park like, I don't know, 3 dozen cars or something in the middle. And then there was this sliver on the side. It was very weird. It was weird in that it's like, why do I need to go up there? And I didn't go there the first day because I forgot. And then I went there Thursday and thought, oh boy. And then I went there Friday and I was like, this is horrible. I think maybe then I went back maybe on Sunday. And then Sunday was the quietest day. So there was actually room to look around. But the dealers up there were like, wow, it's really quiet today. They were kind of complaining about how it seemed so quiet and so light.
And that's funny you said that, because we didn't even make it up there on Saturday. We got up there on Sunday.
Right.
And it was later. Well, I guess it was early afternoon. It was afternoon-ish. Yeah. Probably around 1 o'clock or so when we finally made our way up there. I think we ran into you guys beforehand and we're like, we're going to make our way up there. And you're like, good luck.
Yeah.
Holy cow, was it busy.
Oh,
like you guys are saying how bad it was before. We thought it was bad. We could barely move.
Yeah.
When we got to the end of the one aisle, I was looking at those what are they, the hockey card exchange guys, the ones from Canada. I was looking at their booth. My kids went over and they like sat down in the one space that they could over in the corner, because they're like, we're not even going to bother walking through this.
You know what?
We didn't go up the center aisle because we couldn't.
No, you can't. So
we went the first aisle in, went to the last aisle.
You got to go around.
All the way up.
Right.
We stopped at the hockey only guy.
Yes.
We looked at his table. I asked him a couple prices and laughed, and we had a good chuckle out of it. And then we hightailed it out of there. We couldn't have spent more than 20 minutes.
Yeah, would you guys say that footprint was like the size of a basketball court? Probably.
I mean, maybe.
Okay.
No,
so think
too deep one way. It was
okay. Too deep.
I feel like it was smaller than that.
Okay, but there were 100 tables, 100 dealers in that space. So think about it. If you ever go to a small show, it's 100 tables. It's like spread out, like in a whole gymnasium. And here they are. They put them in basically what was like the equivalent of like, a very, very narrow space. So maybe they had.
That's what I don't get. Like, I have no idea. Like, this is your space. I know you're renting it. And I'm sure they had a reason, but this seemed like punishment. Like, yay, we got 8-foot space, but you're going to be punished by putting this area. Now, I heard a lot of people talking about it after the fact. Some of the dealers that were up there, and I saw the amount of people. I mean, essentially, what was going on up there was like the best thing I can call it, other than chaos, and compare it to something. It reminded me of a combination of those travel videos you see of places like the market in Calcutta or New Delhi, where there's 7 people per square foot of space, or those images you get of like the stock market scrums where everyone's scrambling to make a deal happen before the bell, and they're all screaming and yelling, buy, sell. And that's what it reminded me of. Like, it was chaos. It was just chaos. I had to get out of there. Like, I had to walk away. It was crazy.
I went up there the first day and it was crowded. Actually, what's interesting about Wednesday, the first day of the show, is that Clemente said to me, wow, this feels like Friday. And I'm like, you're right. Like, it was crowded. Like, it was annoyingly crowded on Wednesday. So there were a lot of people there. I mean, I would say that Wednesday, Thursday, Thursday had a lot of attendance. Friday and Saturday had more attendance. And then Sunday, it's like the attendance was just cut in half. Like, would you agree with those figures, Clemente, that it was
I'd say
pretty
that's
crowded the first 2 days and then like insanely crowded the next 2 days?
Yes, yes. And then Sunday was the quietest day, but it was still, by regular standards, it was still pretty busy.
Yeah, but Sunday I actually had room to move and room to look, and I was like zipping around and retracing my steps and going here and there and like everywhere, just like I had I had a good lay of the land, and so I was hitting certain booths that I wanted to hit again. And then sometimes I double back and hit them a third time, like when I was really thinking, oh, do I really want this? I don't know. I'm not sure. I'll come back to it, and I know where it is. Like sometimes with buying, it's like if I see something and the price agrees with me and it's something I want or need, I buy it. If it's something I'm a little iffy on, I think about, but I mean, after like 5 days, I was able to really get a good, I'm directionally challenged, but by like day 5, I was just like, all right, I got this figured out. So that's when I did most of my buying. But yeah, that upstairs was pretty busy all those days. I went up there Sunday morning. Again, I think I went up there Wednesday, Thursday, and I skipped it Friday and Saturday because I knew that it was just going to be crazy those 2 days. And then I went back up there on Sunday. So that's as far as the upstairs goes. And then, of course,
there could have been some really cool things up there that I never would have seen due to the collecting mosh pit that I didn't want to be a part of.
Well, I mean, like one thing I picked up in the upstairs room was like this old Parkhurst card of Jerry McNeil, which was just so misplaced. It's like a 50, what year is that? 55, 56 Parkhurst card. And the thing was that the condition was pretty good. Yeah, there's wear on it because, it got that red border at the bottom. But I looked at it and like the dealer had another card that I really wanted. And, you know how you kind of do like where you want to get like a deal on like a couple of cards. So you buy a card that you really want, you buy a card that you kind of want, and you buy like maybe another card that you really want and see what they'll do for you on that, So this was a little bit of an impulse buy because I'm like, well, I'm not really building the 55, 56 Parkhurst set, but sometimes you just need to like, it's like I don't want to say a crime of opportunity, but I looked at this and I'm like, all right, I could live with the condition of this card, and the dealer has it, and I kind of want it, but I kind of want these other 2 cards, so I'll just throw it in, right, and see what it'll do for me on the price, and he cut me. I think he knocked like $7 off of everything I bought, and that was fine. I mean, $7 is small potatoes, not going to make me or break me, but all those like $5 off here, $10 off there, especially when you don't ask, when they just say, just give me this much, you know what I mean? And then you're not like being like, well, what's the best you can do? You know what I mean? And when they just say, just give me this much, that's fine. So yeah, this was like one of those things that I found upstairs in the upstairs room. And another thing I'll show you, just as long as we're on the topic of upstairs, I actually bought this from Hockey Card Exchange. They had a 1953-54 Parkhurst Lorne Gump Worsley rookie card. So this card is special for 2 reasons. One, it's special because it's from the 53-54 Parkhurst set, which I am actively building. I'm still trying to complete the 63-64 set, the one with the flags in the background, but this has kind of become like my secondary focus because it seems like I find a lot of these cards, especially in Canada. I mean, of course, in Canada when I go to the expo, but, once upon a time, I think, it's a 100 card set. And I think like one day I bought like 8 of them and I'm like, I'll never complete this set. And then every now and then I'd find them here and there. I'd find a common for $8, a common for $10. I'd be like, okay, I'd just keep picking away at it. And then sometimes I'd find a bunch of them and get a good deal on them. So it's been this set that I've just started building. And I actually picked up 13 different cards from this set. This was probably the biggest one that I got this time. The other reason why this card is special is because I'm a fan of Gump Worsley. Never saw him play. Read his book a million times. Remember checking it out from the library when I got into hockey. Read it cover to cover. He wrote it after his career ended. It's called They Call Me Gump. Great book, great autobiography. And every summer I would check out that book and reread it. And then when I got a job, like my first full-time job, I'm like, I want a copy of that book. And it was out of print. And this was like, you couldn't find it on eBay, but Amazon used to do this thing where they would help you track down used books. I don't know if they still do that. But anyways, I ended up buying a copy of the book. Like, I forgot what I paid for it. I paid more than cover price, obviously. And then I ended up getting another copy on eBay years later that was autographed by Worsley. But so that was like another cool thing that I found in the upstairs, because Hockey Card Exchange was upstairs. So was Just Hockey and Rising Hockey Rookie Cards, or whatever they're called. So there were like 3 dealers that specialized in hockey. But then there were other dealers up there that had hockey cards. And I was actually surprised overall how much hockey I found. Because you know what? The Atlantic Ocean is big. And even if you just took 10% of the Atlantic Ocean, that's still a lot of water. Okay, 10% of a lake is enough to drown you, right? So 10% of the national, if you say it was 10% hockey cards, that's a lot, okay? If you take all the square footage, that's just a lot of merch. So I was able to find stuff to buy. There was a lot of stuff I walked away from. There's a few things I wish I didn't walk away from. And I'll try to rectify that in the future and maybe be a little more, I don't want to say like, I don't know, fast and loose, but like, something I want, it's $20. No problem. Here you go. Something that I want, $200. Maybe I could find it for $150. But if you take all those $20 purchases, $20, here you go. $20, here you go. Guess what? It adds up to $200. So I could have done some things a little better, but I'm pretty happy with what I bought. In a little bit, I'll share some of the other things.
Oh, it's the old argument, quantity over quality, or lots of smaller things that are equal to maybe one card. And it's like, when I go to a show, if I were to buy a card that was $500 and walk out with one card, that would be great. But I feel more satisfied if I have like 7 different items that equal the same amount of money, maybe. So, and as a collector, right, you're looking for diversity. You're looking for lots of stuff ultimately, unless it's like, and I know Tim hates this word, a grail card, okay, whatever card that is. And normally that would be like a Gretzky rookie. So if you don't own one of those, I know people who are constantly telling me, oh yeah, every show they go to, I'm looking for a Gretzky rookie, I'm looking for a McDavid or an Ovechkin rookie, Young Guns. And then they 99.9% of the time, they don't see it, or it's too expensive, or they don't buy it because they're like, well, it's, it didn't work out. But they're chasing it all their life. And so every show they go to, there's a possibility that one of those cards may end up in their collection. But most likely, they're going to buy a lot of cards for $5 or $10 or $20, and they're going to amass more of those. And so that's fine too. Like, I went into the show with a couple of ideas of what I wanted to buy if I saw it. And then it doesn't always work out. And that's okay, because this is a lifelong pursuit. It's not like I have to get it. It's not like one of those grocery games where I have to run through the national and fill up my cart and run out in a matter, in an hour or something. It doesn't work like that. So it's fine. Like, there's always
security would be chasing you if you did.
Yeah. There's always the next national. There's always the expo. There's always Chantilly. There's always Spectacular. There's always some show where you might fall in love or see the card that you're looking for. I like the national because it's stuff that sometimes I've never seen in person. I'm like, wow, they have it here. Like, it's great. I can touch it. I can see it. Oh, maybe I can buy it. That's the fun part.
So you brought up the Gretzky rookie, and I want to focus on that for a second. But before I do that, I concur with the idea. There was honestly way more hockey than I anticipated. I was not expecting that much, because years past, or any indication of how things have been, I had really zero expectations for what I was going to find. Probably at least a few dozen tables or more. had hockey. Now, you had tons of tables that had hockey cards per se, but it's the same sampling of the 10 usual suspects, right? You see the Crosby, the McDavid, the Ovechkin, the Bedard Young Guns. You see the Gretzky rookie card. Clemente and I couldn't get over the fact that every single table had Yzerman rookie cards. They were everywhere.
Yeah.
It was like that was the you would have thought that the Yzerman rookie all of a sudden came out this year and was an ultra modern card because there were so many of them. Or you'll find the Patrick Waugh rookie or the Lemieux rookie or an occasional smattering of like the 66 or the 51 or 54
Or Ken
Pals.
Dryden's rookie or something like that.
Yeah, or like a little offshoot one. But those 10 specifically, you'll see if anybody has any hockey cards, they probably have those. But we found boxes to look through, multiple display cases, piles of cards, modern, vintage. Even I found some tables that had back stock because they didn't have enough space to put it out. And I just said, "Hey, you got any hockey cards?" And they're like, "Yeah, here's a box." And they'd pull it out from under the table. So, plus the amount of hockey memorabilia was very nice to see. The Gretzky gamer gloves that Heritage had, I don't know if you guys saw those.
Yeah.
They were autographed and everything. Those are very cool.
Yeah.
And there were like some artists and stuff there that did some Gretzky paintings and some other hockey player paintings. But onto that Gretzky card. I want to bring that up because, yes, that is a quote-unquote grail card for many people, especially hockey collectors. I do not own that card. I would like to own that card. I was casually looking for that card. It was at many tables.
I was with
at one
you,
table. You were with me. Yes.
Yes.
Great example. There's an O-Pee-Chee version of the rookie. In lots and lots of cases.
Yeah.
I don't know if this was specifically the one, but this happened also. I found one that was in a slab, graded a 1. Now, if you look up ones, they're consistently pretty much selling online for between $400 and $600, depending on the slab brand and the eye appeal, quote unquote. There were dealers with ungraded copies in pretty rough shape, wanting $2,000 to $3,000 in some cases for an ungraded version that was beat up. And I certainly understand the overhead of a show like this, something as big as the National, for guys to come from wherever it is they're coming from. Even that is well past the level of what I would consider ridiculous. Like the one that we were at the table with, I just happened to ask, how much is that Gretzky? Not graded.
And the woman says 4.
She comes back and says 4. I'm like, 400, that's not bad. She's like, no, 4,000. And I went, I don't even remember what I said. It was probably something.
But it was not graded and very sharp looking, I have to say, for not good eye appeal, if you want to use that word.
It did. It had very good eye appeal, which made me start to think, is this even real? But anyway.
I saw an ungraded Gretzky rookie for $950. And I said, all right, it's sub $1,000. I'll take a look at it. Well, first of all, it was like a Card Saver 1 or Card Saver 2, and it was like rubber banded in like a stack of other cards.
Really?
And so it was on the top.
That's red flag right there.
But you know what? And then the other thing is that like it was pretty rough. Like if they said $500, I would have been like, yeah, all right, I could use another Gretzky rookie, and that's a price I'm comfortable with. Sure, right? Like I would have really seriously considered it, but it was like $950, and it was just not in like good shape. And I just said, yeah, okay, thanks. Once I took a look at it and saw like how rough it was, and this was the Topps version, I was just like, all right, that's a pass. But you know what? Real quick, I just want to show. You mentioned those Gretzky gloves. I actually have a picture of those. They're from the 87-88 season.
That looks exactly like the picture I took.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't know you had that picture to share.
I didn't have it to share. I just took that picture because I sent it to somebody that I know is a Gretzky collector. I'm like, how about this? You want me to bid on them for you?
Right. Yeah. So, I thought those were pretty cool. And then there was also a Jacques Plante Rangers jersey that was pretty cool.
Can you zoom in on the tag and see what it says?
65, 67, Jacques Plante.
Jacques Plante and Eddie Giacomin. They both wore that jersey.
Yeah, because they would just recycle the jersey and say, guess
Yeah.
what? You're number 30 now.
Right.
That is your number, you know.
Because my
And-
kids asked me, why is there 2 names on this jersey? And I had to explain that to them.
And then there's a Chris Chelios jersey from the 91-92 season, which I mean, you know, I obviously I'm not going to buy it, but that's kind of more in my wheelhouse of like, you know, and they say like what moves the needle for you? This moves the needle for me like a lot because
It's got the 75th anniversary patch on it, which is making it super cool.
it's my favorite player. It's my favorite throwback jersey. 91-92. You know, it's funny. It's like I say it's like one of my favorite seasons in the NHL, but it's like all my teams lost. The Blackhawks lost the Stanley Cup final. The Team USA lost in the Olympics, and Team USA also lost in the Canada Cup. So like all the teams that I wanted to win championships all lost. Like I think I know USA finished 4th in the Olympics and 2nd in the Canada Cup. So it's just like, yeah, it was a great season except that, you know, but no, I have a lot of nostalgia for that. So, I mean, like if they said, hey, you could walk away with one thing, I would seriously consider this. I mean, of course, everybody would just pick the most expensive thing. Like if they said you could select one thing and you can't sell it. So if you take the $5 million Babe Ruth hat, but you can't sell it, right? So it's just got to be something that you keep, right? This is probably what I would pick. Sorry, off topic.
What a weird mix of things. A Kansas City Chiefs helmet, a Ripken jersey, and a Chelios jersey.
Yeah, you ever hear of this guy, Derek Thomas?
Yeah.
Any good?
Oh, that was a Derek Thomas helmet? Okay,
Yeah.
Cool. I didn't notice. I couldn't see.
Yeah.
Couldn't tell who the signing was.
And a Ripken.
Derek Thomas was great.
Cal Ripken jersey. Yeah, they just kind of had a medley of things in that case.
Well, what I was going to finish with on my Gretzky talk, the dealer had a mostly modern case, but quite a few hockey cards. He had one that seriously looked like it got caught in a bicycle spoke once or twice.
Oof.
It was pretty chewed up. So, and my kids are standing there. I'm like, I wonder how much that is, because it was the only card in the case not priced.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm going to ask him how much the price is. So I ask nicely, and in between bites of a sandwich and spitting chunks towards me in the process, he regaled me with this nice story of how he wanted $4,000 for this thing because the last one did $6,000 and it was in worse shape. No, it didn't. That $6,000. That's a graded 6 price, not a wallet card price, which is what this one was.
You know what's
like it was
interesting?
beat the
Wallet
heck.
card.
Yeah,
You know
it was
what's
beat the heck, and I would have loved to put it in a binder with my set. And when he said that, I just was like, "You got to be kidding me!"
We know
Like,
what
you
it
might
is.
want to wipe off your table with there's like chunks of ham and mustard.
But you
right there.
know what it is, Tim, is that people that don't do hockey generally, if they have the one car that's hockey, it's going to be Gretzky. They think it's worth, like, even if it's beat up, they think it's worth lots of money because, and look, we've said this before, there's no shortage of that card. But what kind of dovetails with that is the ridiculous amount pricing for like 90s junk wax hockey that we saw.
Yeah,
like,
let's talk about that.
Like Pro Set 991, $30 for a box. Really?
Contraire, mon frere.
And what'd you get it for?
Oh man, my green screen is
18.
18. You know what this sold for back in 1990?
I don't know. I
What's
forgot.
50 cents times 36 packs?
I don't do math on the podcast. You know that.
Tim, come on.
It's the sticker price you currently have on it.
$18, right? So a box of 9091 Pro Set.
But right before the pandemic,
I forgot how heavy these things.
Yeah,
I could press these, man.
Dude, there was 25 years where those were $5.
Exactly. $5.
I know, right? But you know what it was there was this one dealer that had like just this table of like random packs.
You will buy anything, won't you?
No, he'll buy anything that's heavy because you rolled those things around, didn't you? On
Because you got
Sunday?
to chalk tires on a car or something. Why? Like, come on.
What?
You don't need more boxes of 9091 Pro Set.
No, but I
Nope.
want more boxes of 9091 Pro Set.
Timmy's building like an igloo with them.
What are
Yeah.
you doing with them?
I don't know. I might wallpaper my apartment with them.
You could
I don't know.
insulate your attic with those.
Are you still
Yeah,
looking
well, I
for
live
the,
in an attic, so yeah, I could.
Are you looking for the
probably do
Stanley
that.
Cup card? Is that what you're looking for? The Stanley Cup card?
Well, yeah, that, or maybe another Paul Gillis bloody nose card, or maybe
Okay.
the Shane
you're gonna
Fortune
open these?
corrected card. Yeah, I mean the wrapping on them's not very good. So okay, I feel like I have to defend myself now. Why did you buy 2 boxes of Pro Set hockey cards? Okay, so let me explain something real quick.
You're sick.
This-
That's why.
Yeah,
You have sickness.
dude, this is all of us, right? We're podcasting about hockey cards. I think we all have a problem or problems, okay? Issues, right? There was a dealer that had like
Some are a little deeper than others, but
random junk packs and wax and boxes and whatever, right? Eclectic stuff. And they were always throwing things out every day. They're throwing out different stuff. So they threw out these 9091 Pro Set packs. They were loose packs. And I looked at them, and they were the packs that were like where the wrapper was thick. The Pro Set Series 1 cards that were issued later in the season were wrapped in thin wrappers like the 9091 Score, where you could see the top card through the wrapper. The Pro Set Series 1 packs that came out earlier in the season or before the 9091 season were on like these double thick wrappers that were gray on the inside. So you couldn't see the top card on the top of the pack or on the bottom of the pack. My theory is that you have a higher likelihood of getting a Stanley Cup hologram in one of those earlier issue packs. I can't prove this because I've never pulled one. But what I'm thinking is if Pro Set did a print run and they said, we did a print run and there's 5,000 Stanley Cup holograms out there, right? Okay, cool. But then if they do another print run, they didn't make another 5,000 Stanley Cup holograms. They probably just put more packs out there in the open market. I don't know. But anyways, so this dealer had these loose packs and they were the earlier versions of the wrappers. But then I walked by later on and they put out 2 full boxes. And I'm just like, all right, you know what? These are probably the earlier versions as well. They're probably from the same case. Speaking of case, somebody had a sealed case of 9091 Pro Set Series 1 hockey. You know what the price was, Tim? You want to guess? I know Clemente knows because he was there.
yeah.
A sealed case of them?
Yeah, and whatever the price was, it should have been half of what it was. But
I was going to say $8.78, but I'm going to guess it's going to be higher than that.
Just guess.
For a case?
Yeah, 20 boxes.
sealed.
400.
That's
Now,
what it should be. That's
what it
be.
should be. Was $750.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. So the junk wax prices were nuts. I'd go to one table, somebody to have a box of 9091 Score for $20 or $30. People would have 9091 Upper Deck for $30, $40, or $50. So there was definitely some problems with the pricing of junk wax because, like you said, it should be $5, maybe $10. But yeah, okay.
So my
18
theory,
bucks.
my theory on the pricing is that before the pandemic, it was like $5 a box. Nobody wanted this stuff. Fine. Then the pandemic comes. Everyone's back in the hobby. All the people that are our generation are back in the hobby, and they want to buy up all the stuff from their childhood. And because demand increased,
Yeah, but
pri-
actually, let me
price
just
went
interrupt
up.
real quick though, because I got to backtrack something.
Yeah.
2019 National Gary V did he talked at the VIP party, and he said that he believes that junk wax is going to be the next hot thing.
Yeah, he was pumping it.
He was pumping it, but this was in 2019. This was prior to the pandemic. This was July of 2019. So the immediate effect I saw of that was pretty much everybody at the show doubled their prices on junk wax because I'd see a box of 89 Donruss baseball and it was $10 a box or $15 a box. And it'd be like, no, 2 years ago, a year, this was like a $5 box of cards, right? So the dealers were even saying, yeah, I hear junk wax is hot now. Like, that's what they kept saying. This was almost like he put this rumor out there, and then people just believe, like the dealers wanted
he
to
made it
believe
up.
it.
Of course they want to
He
believe
made it up. He had no basis for it. Now, it seems prophetic because, yes, that's exactly what happened. Junk wax did go up in value because there was a rekindling of the nostalgia. But that was caused not by Gary V, but by the COVID-19 pandemic and the more time and the more money that people had to get back into collecting. So he had the right idea, but for the wrong reason.
But look, I understand demand and supply, but the supply is so abundant for like Pro Set that there's no reason why, like the table you're talking about where you paid $18, they had very good prices on everything else, but even they thought, oh, we'll put this for $18. People had it for $30. We saw Pro Set for $30 a box. So I know it's a side note, it's like a rabbit hole we went down, but I point that out because it's just crazy to me that this stuff, people are literally, nobody wants it, throwing it away. I don't know what it is, but and then now, from one day to another, we're talking about like, and this will go down again. It has to, because it doesn't make any sense, because what makes sense is you bought that box and you leave it sealed, because opening it would just result in just a bunch of cards that everybody already has that are worth 5 cents each, and they're so maybe what keeps Pro Set hot compared to maybe the other brands of that era is that there is this chase card. There are these errors that people want. So it's got this strangeness to it. I love that set.
Mystique, if you will.
Mystique, even, if you will.
Yes.
Right. And we opened a couple of packs and it was kind of fun, but it's like enjoyable in the moment. And the moment the cards run out and you put them down, it was like, what was that? Like, why did we do that? It was, it just has that really fleeting moment. So we
had one of those too. You want to hear about our? Why did I do
pack
that?
War? Did a pack war, or what did you do?
No, even worse. Even worse. You're gonna like probably hang up on me and kick me off the show permanently when I tell you this.
Okay.
But every table had repacks. Like every table.
That's a thing.
Repacks rule the world now.
They
Right?
do.
So we finally got to this one table, and this guy had repacks that were like $10. Guaranteed you got either an auto or a game used card. I guess not game used anymore. Just a memorabilia card, right?
A patch.
Yeah. And the kids are like, we should buy one and see who gets the best pack. And I'm like, you know what? Fine. I'm telling you not to. I've told you guys not to like 100 times. Fine, whatever. Go ahead, do it. $10. So $10 each. They both open one. Oh my God. It was the most brutal thing I've ever seen in my life. And talk about Pro Set. The hockey one that they opened had at least 7 cards from the 1991 Pro Set.
So it's like a Fairfield box now.
Oh, it was stupid.
So it was random cards from a sport. These weren't unopened packs.
No. It was just random cards stuck together, put in a repack, and here, $10. You could get this or you could get that. I think there was a Claude Giroux jersey card in that pack. And then Daniel got a baseball one, and I don't even know who the guy was. Never even heard of him in my life. And I'm like, see, I told you.
Well, like, they're taking the cards that nobody wants and trying to repackage them to make money. And there's so many patch cards out there of guys that didn't make it. They recycle them, and then on the promise and the hope that you might get a good card.
Well, I can concur with the fact that everything was overpriced. I mean, there were some deals to be had if you could find them, but for the most part, everything was just jacked up price-wise. And I'm guilty of overpaying for a few things there just because I wanted them, but I didn't care, and I didn't sit there on my phone for 20 minutes trying to find the best deal.
Right.
If I wanted it, I got it, and if I didn't like the price, I probably walked away. But again, just to like reiterate, the overhead thing, I get it to some extent, but they're capitalizing on the fact that you're a captive audience and you're stuck here and this is what you're there to look at. And it's like, even the vintage tables, which a lot of times have, some pretty good deals, at least in my experience. Wow, nobody wanted to deal. Nobody wanted to make deals. I was listening to like conversations that were going on, and these guys were willing to just walk out of there and take their inventory home with them rather than, you know, cut things. Because most of these folks were less interested in the comps that were shoved down their throat every 5 seconds, and they were more than willing to stick to their guns and walk out of there taking this stuff home.
Well, on the
I completely understand that.
Yeah.
I mean, I wore that Shatner comp shirt the first day that we were there.
Yeah, and
got numerous compliments about it.
And the dealers were telling us, like they didn't care about comps. They were telling people, I don't care about comps, and people would walk away. But dealers have learned to be firm too and say, I'm not here to play a game with you on the phone. Like, this is my price. Maybe we can make a deal, maybe not, but don't just start quoting me prices. Because one dealer told us, they pull up auction records, eBay sales of cards that maybe were sold on a Wednesday at 2 a.m. was the closing, and like that price doesn't mean anything to me. And like, I understand if you have a dealer, you priced your stuff, you had some criteria as to how you priced it, and then you, the buyer, could either buy it or move on. And that's how I did it. But I say in general, the prices were kind of all over the place. Like some stuff was cheaper, some stuff was way too expensive. You had to like really look, and not just look for stuff, but then look for the right price. Like we were looking at that one guy, Tim and I know Sal was at that table for a while too, where he had the little walkthrough with the cabinets. He had a lot of hockey, a lot of patches, a lot of autographs, but the prices were really all over the place. Like some cards that were $40 should have been maybe $100, and some cards that should have been $5 were $50. So it was like, okay, I don't know when you priced this stuff. Was it 5 years ago, and then you just didn't touch anything anymore? And then he was always willing to make a deal, like shave, $5-10 off the price. It was very strange the way stuff was priced. And there were some good cards that were like in Card Saver 2s. Like, I don't know, why they weren't in a display case or in a one touch or something more, and some of these guys have so much inventory, they just don't even know. And then hockey is always secondary. So they're like, we don't care. It's in a box somewhere. You look through it, you figure it out, so that's
the thing that Sal said earlier about,
that was weird.
There are some guys, if you grab like 20 cards, he's like, here, and you hand it to them, they're like, okay, give me whatever.
Right.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
But, it's like, yeah. Did I pay more than I should have for someone? Sure. Absolutely. Looking back on it, did I probably spend more than I should have for what I got? Yeah, probably. But again, I had fun doing it. And the big talk here in the grand scheme of all of it that everybody keeps talking about is, what is everybody's opinion on the health of the hobby? And I think that's a kind of a funny question, because from what we saw, you can answer that completely differently depending on what hat you're wearing at the time. We're in a time where a large chunk of the quote unquote hobby has become very much an addictive vice that gets reinforced in its visual portrayal every single day on social media. And it's highly encouraged by those that control the narrative. If you got a camera and you got the followers, whatever you say seems to be what's going on. And the more well networked and visually connected the creators are, the more they can seemingly dictate the direction that their followers just blindly trek forward on what it is that they're buying and selling. I mean, it's kind of like watching the mythical March of the Lemmings, right off the cliff.
Well,
but this is the glitz and the glamour part of the hobby.
Yes.
This is why Fanatics Fest is so popular and could potentially overtake the National as like the premier hobby type show. I mean, who's to say that 3 years from now, well, next year when Fanatics takes over the rest of the licensing for everything except for hockey, who's to say that that's not the event that everybody schedules their vacations over in the summer to go to that. I mean, I know New York's not the most hospitable and the easiest to get in and out of, but still, I mean, going in that particular place for an event like that, there's a market for shiny, bombastic, over the top presentation. And no doubt there's money to be made, because this was evident by the tens of thousands of dollars that you could see changing hands all week long over these ultra modern, overvalued, overgraded, overhyped prospects and never will be's. But the flip side of that is like what we're doing. We're collecting the long haul. We're building sets. We're PCing certain players. We're doing this. We're doing that. We have all these little bits and pieces that we take as part of our hobby. We are looking somewhat at modern occasionally, but then we're also looking at we're going backward, and we're trying to bring things in from backward. And so the vintage card market, I think, was pretty healthy. It's just it's healthy in a stagnant way, and I know that doesn't really make sense, but I know you guys understand what I'm trying to say when I say
But I
that.
think a couple of things. One, I do think that some younger people are interested in vintage, if not sets, maybe individual players, right? So that keeps vintage healthy. And then there's the people like us who like the older stuff and like to collect sets and all that and finish their sets and whatever. But I also think because the hobby is so fragmented, like if someone says, "Oh, what's the health of the hobby?" Well, clearly, if you went to the National this weekend, it's very good, the health, because it's record crowd, jam packed. Everyone's having a great time. Everyone's making a deal. People are buying stuff. It looks like it's healthy. But there's also a component where you mentioned, Tim, and you're right. It's this what I call too big to fail. The Fanatics, Tops, Upper Deck, Heritage, Golden, all the YouTubers, all those people, they're going to make sure that all the high end auctions are always talked about. There's a social media kind of presence around it. You'll never know if the hobby's failing in the sense that, or yeah, maybe the show will be emptier, but those areas will always be hyped because that keeps their business going. People
And if that's your only exposure, that's what you think the hobby is.
Yeah, everyone hears every other day you hear about a record sale of a card at auction, when the truth is that represents 0.000001%. And I'm convinced that the same 100 people are buying all these things everywhere. And then there's 99% like us who are like looking, for the $20 card here and finish the Young Gun set and whatever you're looking for. So that's the majority of the hobby. But it's like the NASDAQ. It's got the top stocks and you see how the market's going. It's a snapshot. It's not necessarily reality. Reality is some stocks are higher than others. Some cards are hotter than others. Some players are hotter than others. And it kind of fluctuates over time. And people like us, we love the hobby. We like to collect. And frankly, when the hobby's healthy and things are really good, I consider that bad for me because it means everything's overpriced generally, right? No one's making me a deal, right? If the hobby got a little bit quieter, and we're still off the pandemic, I think it's off the pandemic, and you can tell because when stuff like this breaks into popular culture, mainstream media, then it's big. Like the Skeens thing, Skeens rookie card, the whole Chase thing, the whole whatever, the kid found it, like that was everywhere, like on the morning shows and the newspapers, everywhere. And that's what Fanatics wants. That's what Tops wants. It's what the National wants. They want this to break through. Hype. They want the hype. Everybody wants hype. Yeah, the National had a great social media presence this year. And I'm like, okay, they must have hired someone younger to be like posting stuff. And it was like all these interactions with athletes. And 1 minute this guy's doing this, 1 minute someone else is doing that. And that made their social media feed. It made their Twitter, their Instagram, just like Fanatics does with Fanatics Fest. So there is going to be a new way to promote the hobby. The glitz part, if you don't like it, then you're going to be disappointed because it's going to be more of that. And then now how does that impact us? Maybe the prices go up a little bit, but it doesn't. I can tune that out. And like we can talk about some of the pickups we had.
Yeah,
the pickups had nothing to do with what was going on at the eBay booth where they were yelling into microphones. That has nothing to do with what I'm doing.
No, it doesn't. Because
500 rows away,
Yeah,
so.
Those of us that are collecting vintage and modern or building sets or PCing a player, there's a place for us in the hobby. And as much as we don't like the breaker pavilions and the breakers being loud and crazy, and we see through the hype machine of a lot of this stuff, the influencers, we see through the paid actors that are coming in and saying, yeah, I've been collecting since I was a kid. No, you got paid this morning and you showed up. We can kind of see through a lot of that kind of stuff, but there's other people that brought them in. So yeah, we hate the breakers. We don't like it, but guess what? 90% of these cards that are flooding into the market, we never would have saw because they'd be sitting in cases for years, never being opened. So I guess it's this symbiotic relationship that we kind of need each other in the ecosystem,
Right.
the good and the bad, and we might complain about it, but it's like, there's a dark side and a light side, and I like to think that I'm on the light side most of the time. But
I guess we should probably conclude Sal, by mentioning like what our best pickups were.
Yeah, I want to show a few things really quick. First, I want to show this Gretzky painting.
Oh, I'm glad you got a picture of that.
Yeah, I didn't buy this, obviously. I don't even know where I'd put. I don't even know how I'd get this home. I think they'd look funny at me on the train.
My ceiling's not big enough, and I have a vaulted ceiling.
Sal, do you know? Yeah. For those of you watching, the way Sal took this picture, it actually looks like Gretzky's running towards you.
Yeah.
Or skating towards you.
And he is 3D because his stick and his gloves and everything are sticking out.
Yeah, the stick and the gloves are real.
Yes.
And so
very cool.
Very cool. Wish it was in the Kings jersey and not a Rangers jersey, but whatevs. But anyways, this artist also did a bunch of different sport card themed paintings. You can see here like the Jim Brown rookie, the Walter Payton rookie, Wayne Gretzky painting that again has a real stick and gloves. So that was really cool. That's the kind of stuff that you only see at like a national. So, I took some pictures because, I'm writing a story. Clemente's writing a story for multiple stories. So, it's good to just have stuff like this. You know what I mean?
So
like stop.
You see that 38 Gaudy Lou Gehrig right there?
Yeah.
Or DiMaggio?
Yeah.
That DiMaggio one. So I was looking at something and the kids are like, you got to see this Joe DiMaggio thing. They did him dirty. I'm like,
no, that's the way he actually is on the card.
So, that's what I said. So I'm like, what do you mean they did him dirty? So I walk over there and they're like, look at this. And they're laughing at it. I'm like, that's actually what the real card looks like. They're like,
yes.
Really? I'm like, yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So anyway, another thing I want to point out, these aren't in it. I could have put these photos in a better order, but okay, there was a trade night. Okay. These were the people who are not at the trade night. They were just setting up in the lobby. I mean, if you look at this, so there were people lined up outside to go upstairs. Now, I remember this night, they said, if you have a red wristband, get in line for trade night. If you do not have a red wristband, you cannot be in trade night. So this guy here, he has a red wristband. That was for trade night. I guess he paid the $5 or whatever. But even before trade night, there was a trade evening going on in the lobby here. You see all these people. You know what they're doing, right? I mean, what's this kid up to?
Yeah, but that was happening day and night. That was happening
day. This is a man.
That was happening day and night.
Yeah, there were just people they weren't letting people set up in the main lobby. In fact, it was funny. Like, I got down on one knee and started to unzip my backpack that I put in front of me so that I could give something to Tim. And some guy ran up and he's like, "Oh no, you can't do that there. Could you go stand over there and do that?" And I'm like, "Oh, okay." Maybe he thought I was going to throw cards out on the floor, but yeah, I mean, this is.
You thought you were going to put up a pop-up selling place.
Yeah, right, no, I was thinking about that. Yeah, like walk around with a little folding table and throw out some cards real quick.
We should point out that Sal and I attempted to go to a trade night. That was the idea, and then at the last minute, we're like, we don't need to do this, and we went out to dinner anyway, and we skipped trade night. And it kind of reminded me of the famous Yogi Berra saying, which is, in this case, trade night is so busy nobody goes there anymore. But but trade night, the line for trade night was equal almost to the line that Tim saw of people getting into the show 9 hours earlier. So it was pretty crazy.
My question is, if there's a trade night and people are buying stuff, so for $5 you're allowed to basically set up and sell cards. And what does that do for the dealers who are paying, over $1,000, thousands of dollars, depending on how many booth spaces they get? They're paying lots of money to sell cards at this show, and here people are just doing it for free or cheap.
That's always my question: is how much trading actually goes on at trade?
No, trading isn't happening. It's sales.
Right. So anyway, this was just a photo that I took of the trading before the trade night. this was an interesting thing right here. This was a near complete set of 1910, 1911 Sweet Caporal postcards. So there were the tobacco cards, but there were also postcards. And these were actually being auctioned off by Love of the Game Auctions. The gentleman told me that they had 44 out of 45 cards in the set. I actually took a better picture. I mean, here you could see Cyclone Taylor. Do not F with a man named Cyclone Taylor. Just a little word of wisdom there. There's George Vezina. But then I got a better shot of Vezina and Art Ross. And I mean, these things are freaking cool. I mean, like when you said, where are you going to see these things? Like, where are you going to see these things? You know, I mean, it's just.
Well, and they're impossible to find too.
Right.
Because these were given out to players. And
really?
So a lot of them disappeared.
Wow. Right. Yes. So anyway, so that's some of the things, just some of the cool things that I saw. But, you know, another thing is that, like, just a few of the things that I picked up. One thing that I bought, so I did buy another unopened box. This is a box of 1980 Topps Giant football photos. It's also a little sexist because it says, Mr. Dealer, please remove this front panel. I mean, because I guess in 1980 there were no lady dealers, right? And even on the back it says, Mr. Retailer, this is how you make the box stand up, right? Because this was like a countertop display. So, you know, and then you tear this off and then you'd have like the photos, right? And I didn't buy football cards back in 1980, but I remember seeing something like this with Empire Strikes Back trading cards. And I remember my grandmother buying me a few of them. And okay, you want to talk about like those Pro Set cards were $18. You know what I paid for this box?
Can only imagine.
$24 for 48 packs. So 50 cents a pack. So that's probably what they sold for back in the day. They were probably 49-cent packs, but this was an impulse buy because I really don't collect football cards, but I saw this and I was just like, you know, I was like, $25. Okay, I'll buy it. And then the dealer's like, he went to give me my change and then he just like, yeah, just take an extra $1. You buy stuff for me all the time. See, he was grateful that I bought those Pro Set packs, right? So, so I got this box of football cards, which I'm not sure if I want to open it because it's like this just sealed box. It's just kind of cool, right? Like it's got like the thing is still there. It's got all the packs in it. But then again, it might be fun to open up. But then again, it's 1980, and the only bear in this is Walter Payton. And honestly, that's the only card that I'd want because this is before Joe Montana. This is before John Elway. This is before Jerry Rice. This is before all those guys in the 80s and early 90s that I really remember. So
just don't eat the gum.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, there's no gum. Oh, 15 cents a pack. I'm sorry. That's what the price is on. Wow, that's really cheap. You get like one photo. No, okay, this was a find. Tim, you might want to hold on to your seat. This was okay. 2008. As I just that's what I get. Here, I'll just hold up.
Live TV people.
Live TV people. I'll just hold up a single page. This is a Champs mini set, 2008-2009. The complete base set of 192 cards, which I already have, okay. But then there was an additional 152 short prints. And I actually went through page by page at my list, and I figured out that I needed 91 of the short prints. And I'm like, how much for this book? And the dealer's like, I could do 100. I'm like, sold. Right? Because those short prints are a couple bucks a piece. And here I'm getting, a base set that I don't need, but the short prints as well. And I thought that's the kind of stuff that I hope to find. I mean, I didn't go in saying I hope to find Champs minis from 2008. I actually told the dealer, I said, he said, yeah, I think, I got this in a collection and I think the guy was really trying to build it, but he just gave up. And I go, yeah, that's what I did too. I just stopped. when it was just like, oh, I need to spend $4 to get this card of a palm tree, or natural wonders of the world, the woolly mammoth, a palm tree, a saber-toothed tiger, whatever, right? Like, so that was a cool find.
If it was the 09-10 set, I'd be more jealous because that's the one I'm building.
The one with all the different weird bordered parallels.
Yeah, I have all the blue. I have all the green. I'm 5 short on the red. I have half the yellow. I have about a quarter of the yellow animal parallels, and I'm only missing 3 of the mini cards out of all the minis.
Wow.
2 rookies and 1 historical figure.
Full set of 72-73 OPC hockey player crests. This was another great find because it took me years, but I finished the 72-73 OPC hockey set. Now I'm picking away at the Team Canada. I picked up one Stan Mikita, ridiculous looking card, but the price was right. But then I said, oh, there's the team logos and there's the player crests, right? And this was the full set of player crests. Like, I didn't have to do anything to put it together. It was just already done. And I'm just like, I said to the dealer, I looked at it. I looked at the price. I very politely said, what can you do for me on this? I'm interested, but could you do a little better on the price? And he said, are you paying cash? And I said, of course I am. I said, cash, the king of currencies. And he started laughing. And then I said, oh, wait, no. Do you take Bitcoin? And he bust out laughing. I'm like, how about MoonPay? He's like, what's MoonPay? I'm like, it's another type of Bitcoin type of online payment. I said, and I'm embarrassed that I know that that's actually a thing, right? And he busted out laughing, right? But of course I paid cash for everything. So yeah, that was another cool find. And then this Mario Lemieux postcard that says Three Rivers Postcard Club. Do you know what that is, Tim? The Three Rivers Postcard Club?
Yeah, it doesn't exist anymore.
What was it?
It was a postcard club.
Okay. I like that logo of the Penguin logo holding the Stanley Cup. That's pretty cool. That's actually pretty badass. I didn't notice that before. Right?
What's it? Wait, hold that back up on the bottom. I want to see the bottom. Okay, I thought it had the address to whatchamacallit?
The arena?
Like the Civic Arena or something. Yeah, postcard club. Like people that collect postcards. Like that was one that club gave so they could send to other people and then get one back.
Oh, I see. So you just
people that trade postcards.
Gotcha. Right. Yeah.
I guess we should stay on topic just to say that the thing I got that I thought I was really happy with was the 1985 7-Eleven set that includes Mario Lemieux's rookie year card in it. So I was happy to get that. I had only heard about this set, never saw it in person. And, when people say the National has all kinds of stuff, and that's the kind of thing where like you go into a show, and it wasn't on my want list, obviously, because, it's funny. The National is the kind of place where it's like, I don't know, I want it until I see it. And so that's why you have to walk around and dig through boxes. And this was in an album that was in a box of completed sets. And I looked through them, and it's like all like pop culture stuff, like Christopher Reeve Superman cards, a complete set of that, and then like something else from the 80s. And then this was the only sport thing in there. And so I'm like, yep, I'm sold, don't have to talk me into it too much. So
let me ask you real quick. When you said this was the only hockey thing that dealer had?
Yeah, I think so. Well, he had so many boxes. I don't know that I didn't go through everything. He had like golf and boxing and stuff like that.
Do you think that you got this for about the right price, or do you think you got a good deal on it because he wasn't necessarily a hockey dealer?
No, I think I got it for a good price because he wasn't a hockey dealer. And there was a lot of that, I think, too, where everyone had baseball and a bunch of other things. And then they would always have a box or two of hockey or some random hockey thing, because who knows how they ended up with it. They bought a collection or something.
Right.
And I found those people were the best ones to buy hockey from, because one, they didn't know what they had, and two, they want to get rid of it. They're like, I don't even want to lug this around. If you want to buy it so they made things affordable just to get it off. And at one point, I think Sal and I saw the Colgate heads. I think Tim saw them too. And when I said, "Oh,
I saw them twice."
Yeah, I know. And yes, but the ones we saw that were mounted, I said, "Oh, this is the ones Tim saw." And as soon as I pointed and Sal took a closer look, the guy goes, "You want them?" Like they wanted to move them. Clearly, they wanted to sell them, but it wasn't cheap, and the case was kind of clunky and big. But
not only that, he glued them down.
Well, he made it sound to us like the way he sounded to us. It was like, well, you can move them, but I agree with you. Once you glue them onto whatever velvet,
I looked really close in there, and you could see globs of super glue underneath those things.
Yes. That he ruined the value of those. Those things aren't worth anything with super glue on them. So
yeah.
I've never seen them mounted before. That's why I was like, wow, that's really cool. I didn't know they had a display. Oh, wait a minute.
It's a homemade display case, right?
Which I'm all for, but good Lord, he glued them.
The other stuff I picked up was a Tretiak game worn patch card from In the Game. Tretiak is an interesting figure. Never played the NHL, played obviously for the Soviet Union and the Red Army team. And In the Game has made a lot of his stuff over the years. And you always see Tretiak stuff at the expo, like autographs or other things. So I saw this. The price was pretty reasonable. I picked that up. And then I picked up this XPX subset card of Lundqvist rookie that I'd never seen before. I collect Lundqvist cards, especially his rookie year ones. And so I was like, hey, price is good on this too. And I bought it. And so that was kind of, again, 2 cards, 2 goalies. No intention of buying these cards. Didn't know they existed. Didn't know I wanted them until I saw them.
Those are the best kinds.
And then my last notable pickup was I had gone in there with 1 card on my list. I was like, look, I want to get a Celebrini Young Guns card. I think he's going to be the real deal. That's my hope. I think he had a good rookie year. And oddly enough, there were only a few people that had his Young Guns. Some of them were graded and they were going for $500. This was not graded and it was way cheaper. But Lane Hudson, who is the Calder Trophy winner, Rookie of the Year, I didn't see any one of his cards. I know he's a defenseman, but so Rookie of the Year has got 0 love at the National. I didn't see anybody with him with his cards. So, and no Bedards either. So clearly the speculation market on hockey is at a low, which means that all the outside people who never do hockey are not into playing the speculation game, which is good for us because this Young Guns card that I got for $100 and something worth of value, because it was a trade plus cash, is much cheaper than when it first came out 6 months ago. It was about $600. And so I probably overpaid a little bit, I think, on it, maybe not. But the truth is I wanted to get it in person. I went there with this in mind because I wanted to get it. And look, all these cards I mentioned here, especially the Young Guns, we could buy these on eBay and not go to the National. But that's not really what the National is about. That's not what going to the show is about. So that's the thing. So I'm happy with what I picked up and what I brought home, and it was fun.
Oh, it must be my turn. That's my cue, right? All right, so check this out. This is the 70-70, if you can see the picture. 70-71 Dad's Cookies. These are the Penguins. Dad's Cookies, they look like bookmarks. So if you ever see these and you're like, what in the world? And they weren't NHL licensed necessarily. So they showed all the players wearing the showcase shirts that said NHL players on them, and they all had stars and nice little blue, which I've never seen one of those jerseys out in the wild. I wonder if they got just recycled over and over again at that photo shoot or what. But these were all in a little bin, various prices, but most of them were like $1 or $2. So I was like, resale on these just individually is generally way higher than that. So I snatched them all up. Then I realized I was missing one. Couldn't believe it. That's why there's a space on the bottom row there, because Dean Prentice seems to have gone AWOL. I don't think he was in the box. So I got all but one. So now I still have to track down the Dean Prentice card. So But that's okay.
Something to do next year at the National.
Oh, I'm sure I'll find it. I can't leave that hole in the binder. And these fit in those nice, like, tall pages. What are they, like 6-pocket or?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
They fit in the 6-pocket pages.
6-pocket
really well.
pages. So, yeah, it was cool. That was one of the first finds I found on Saturday that I bought. It was like 3 or 4 hours before I even bought anything. That was like the first thing that I bought. And found some really nice shape 6061 Parkhursts.
Nice.
We have Norm Allman here. It's got some nice corners, some nice color to it.
Good eye appeal.
Very good eye appeal.
Except for that mouse pointer on his face.
That should be the name of this is the name of this episode is the National
Eye Appeal.
Eye Appeal.
National Eye Appeal. Yeah.
Yeah.
So here's another one, Sid Abel. Coach card. I like the old coach cards. They're always interesting. Most of them are ex-players and things like that. So that's kind of a cool one. Also, very good eye appeal. Same set. Got this little gem, the Gordie Howe Mr. Hockey card. I don't know. I was looking at it. Yeah, there's a little mark off onto the side, but I don't care. It was really nice. It looks clean.
So Tim, you don't own one of these.
Kids say.
You don't own them already. This card.
No, I didn't.
Okay.
Because I've only in the last probably 10 years started going backward.
Right.
Do you know what year this is from?
This is I want to say 70, 71 maybe.
Okay. That's not the Gordie Howe retires card, is it?
No, but it's the one that there was two, I think. One with the no number. Like an
that's the one this is. This is the no number one.
No number one, yeah. I think it's 69. I think it's 69.
It's 6970.
Nice.
Yeah. So here's the actual card. And yes, it's graded. And no, I'm not a graded collector. I bought it because it looked cool.
Right.
And I bought the card, not the grade. So for those of you that think that this is a gotcha moment, it's not. So shut up. Anyway.
Yeah. Tim, you're pumping a 1969 card right now. No, I'm kidding. It's no, this is a cool card.
Pumping a 1969 card. It's a cool card. It just looks cool. It's amazing. Mr. Hockey. You can't go wrong with that.
Yeah.
So people are going to be like, who? But Penguins and Baltimore skipjack legend, Wally Weir. Okay. Now, when I find these enforcer autograph cards, I generally snatch them up because A, a lot of people don't bother with them. And B, what cards are you going to find that have blood splatter on them?
And a Band-Aid. I mean, it's awesome.
Yeah. It's a Band-Aid and a blood splatter. You have to love these cards, and it's an autograph, and it's Wally Weir, who played 67 games for the Baltimore Skipjacks, and in those 67 games racked up 300 penalty minutes. So, added that to my pile of enforcer autographs.
That is a great set. You know, whenever I see those enforcers or enforcers too, I'll always stop and check my list and see if I have them, because it's like if I find one and it's not like a ridiculous price, I buy it.
Yeah, I mean it's a great set.
Yeah.
Great set and a great checklist to the set. Got this one from my good buddy Sal, who apparently stood in line and got John Cangelosi's autograph.
Technically, Clemente stood in line for this one, but
Clemente, all right.
Yeah. Well, I get the assist. I gave Clemente the ticket, and he got that. And
we divided and conquered. Conquered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty cool card. The 87 tops traded. So, yeah. Pirates legend. Also got a nice Mad Dog autograph. It was pretty cool.
Nice autograph.
Along with the an 8x10 Mr. Al Oliver, also Pirates legend. That is now framed and hanging on the wall in my office.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. It meant that much to you.
I frame all my 8x10s.
Well, no, I'm glad. I mean, you know, I was
I'm not trying to
happy-
diminish it, but yes, I wanted this, so
Yeah, no, I mean,
I appreciate it.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, the other two guys, they were just nobody's selling pirate photos.
Yeah, well, you know, they're more known for being in Chicago. I got a bunch of Lemieux inserts from various 90s ish, early 2000 sets, like the ice carvings, Stars of the Game from Leaf Limited.
Nice.
The harder to find commemorative 500th goal card from the Leaf set. This was an insert. It was a rando insert. I think there was numbered out of like 5,000 or something like that. So that was kind of cool. You know, I don't see this one that often, so that's why I picked it up. I gotta zoom out on that one a little bit, maybe.
That's nice. The artifacts, it's nice.
Yeah, I went with the artifact. There were a couple that I was looking to get, but this one was only numbered out of 250, and I like the orange. I like the orange swatch. Thought that was pretty cool. These were all at that one table we were at, Clemente, that had.
Yeah, that guy had a lot of
just tons
Lemieux.
of
He must
stuff.
have bought a collection from somebody because there
Yeah.
were a lot of Lemieux cards in there.
That's what I was thinking too.
Yeah.
The gold parallel version of the Stars insert
Yes.
from SP. You don't see those very often.
That's
I
a
do
die
not.
cut, right? That's a die
And-
cut. Yeah.
Yeah, they're die cut, but this is the gold parallel.
Mm.
And yeah, you never see these. So I'm like, I'm buying this now. I don't care what it was, what it cost.
Right.
So pick that up.
Well, I like this one.
The Dream Team from one of the score sets. It's kind of a cool card. It looks good in the light. It's all rainbowy. It's like color variant, even though
Before that was a thing. Before it was a thing.
Yeah.
Shiny
That
card
one's
makes
kind of
rainbow.
blurry. It's kind of blurry. Donruss Elite one.
Nice.
Pinnacle Biscuit in the Basket, just because that name's so stupid. It's funny. Well, that's a cool card. It's kind of like that like Dufex print finish to it. I don't know why I picked that. It's from newer SP. I just thought it looked cool, so I just threw it on the pile. One of the cherry picks from Parkhurst. Another insert. This one's a little dinged up. You can see in the corner, but
Let me
I
ask
don't
you
care.
this: are these all from the same dealer, or this was spread out?
It was spread out. Some of them are from the same dealer. Like this came from that one guy, this
Yeah.
Cornerstone one.
No,
I'd never see this insert.
I noticed a lot of Lemieux all over the place, so it wasn't,
That's just a base card. That one's also a base card. There was a Malkin rookie class in a quarter box. It was the only thing I bought from the guy's table, and he's just like, just take it.
Wow.
Yeah, it was. He's like, just take it. Is that the only one? Just take it.
So
I'm like, okay.
that opens up something. I don't want to get into something too deep, but I think Malkin is so
Yes.
undervalued. I mean,
Yes.
I saw some Malkins and they were really cheap, and I thought, why? He's like a really good player, and
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know why. Maybe because he's on the same team as Crosby, maybe, but there's more room for more than 2 or 3 guys to hog up all the market share. But yeah. So you got it for free, basically.
Yeah.
Because I got a quarter that ain't worth my trouble,
Yep.
right?
I found this Alex Kovalev one. It was one I was missing for a set I was building. I found this Naslin jersey at that one table where the guy was complaining about Ken Golden.
Wait,
and
which table? Because I'm sure that was more than one table.
the guy that we like squeezed in behind where they were yelling Golden.
Oh, that guy.
And the guy like rolled his eyes. He's like, I can't take this anymore.
Yeah, well, that guy was not happy with his with the sound. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
I
very
got
loud.
it from
So
his table.
wait, hang on. So Marcus Naslund didn't play that long with the Penguins, did he?
He did not.
So that's actually a really cool find because it's a piece of jersey from a Penguins jersey
It
because
matches.
he went to the Canucks
He did.
and it could have been a yellow Canucks jersey, but
Yeah.
I know he also played on the team when they were in the blue jerseys in the late 90s to like 2000 whatever. But like, yeah, I that's an interesting find because I mean, he was on the Pens for a couple of years, but he wasn't like on the Pens for like 15 years.
No, because the Penguins drafted him. He was like 16th overall in like 91,
Yep.
but he didn't come over until after the 92-93 season because
Right.
he still had a contract with Modo. And
Right.
it didn't expire until like the end of the 93 season. So, and he didn't sign a deal with the Penguins. And back then, the collective bargaining agreement basically said that that he was entitled to free agency as of July 1st of that year. So there was all sorts of like craziness that went on to try to basically get him here and get him signed and get him under contract. And there's a whole big story to it. But yeah, he was on the team. I think until 96. That was his final year of his contract, and he got dealt. So that was the end of that. But great player. Just most of his career is known for not being a Penguin. So couple baseball cards, a couple Henry Davis rookies. I know nobody it's a hockey thing. We're not interested in those. Another Lemieux hot numbers. This is from the 94-95 Flair set. As you can see, I went heavy on the Lemieux inserts. Also found some weird Gretzky cards. That
I love those Broder cards.
Yeah. So you got a couple Broder cards here. Phone card, which I thought was pretty cool. A Semic card, the Russian set.
Yep. Swedish.
Or Swedish set, yeah.
What's the Dime Sports
cool.
magazine? What is that?
It's a Broder card.
Okay.
And for those that might not be familiar with what Broder cards are, they're basically any company in the world at one point in time could just make cards. And so many of them did. And so these were all the unlicensed companies that just randomly made stuff. And there's some that look really cool, including this one.
Is that Puckmaster's card also a Broder card?
Yes.
Because I like that one a lot. I have the Dime Sports one. I don't have the Puckmasters one. And then I see 3-Star Selects, which is Upper Deck.
Yeah, I thought that was cool, and it was pretty clean. So I grabbed it. These are all out of like a 50-cent box.
Wow.
So they were kind of cool. I collect Hockey Hall of Famer autographs, and when I find them cheap, I grab them. This was a Bill Barber. Thought it was pretty cool. This guy had tons of Flyers stuff. I don't know why. He wasn't even from Philly. Here's a 70 Shock Plant. It's the OPG. Well, he only has an OPG one, and that's it.
Yeah.
I thought that was cool. He looks like he's 65, and I think he's 18 in this picture. No, I'm just kidding. You got to love this card, right?
Oh, yeah.
Tony Esposito Calder Trophy winner. Like the hair, the whole thing. It's just, this thing oozes like he could be in the Rat Pack, like singing at a Vegas casino back in the 60s.
He's got the hair for it.
Yeah, for sure. And I just like how nice that card looked, so I grabbed it. Here's a 67 Jockerman All-Star card. I thought it was kind of cool because what's he looking at? I don't know. He's looking at his first team 66-67 nod. He's looking
I'd
right
be
at
smiling too if I was a first team All-Star.
Yeah. Here's another nice looking card of Mr. Jean Beliveau. These cards always crack me up because of the backgrounds. These designs are so loud and crazy, and to think of how old they are that they had these crazy designs, it always cracks me up. You're building this set, aren't you?
I know, and right now I'm checking my list to see if I need that one because
it's number 89.
I don't think I do.
It's not that hard to find, but
no, I don't. I have that one.
Yeah, I liked it. I thought it was cool. Can't go wrong with a Beliveau card. Also got a Red Kelly. And can anybody name who that is without looking?
Is that Punch? No.
It is. It absolutely is.
Yeah, I was going to say, that looks like Punch Imlach.
Yep, it sure is. That was in a pile somewhere. That's the red parallel Crown Royal, by the way. The lesser found red parallel. It's purple, but it's called the red parallel. Okay, funny story about this one. The stickers, right?
We saw these, Sal.
Yeah.
I saw a box of these, yeah.
Yep. A huge box of them. And I'm like,
Yep.
I think I need a bunch of these. So I'm yanking them all out, and they're all marked $3. Then they were marked $1, and the guy was like, everything's half off. I'm like, so these are 50 cents? Like, okay. So I started going through it. I'm like, okay, I'll grab this, grab that. And then my kids come over. I'm like, hey, pull up my list and see which ones of these I need. So they're going through and they're looking. They're like, okay, you need this one, you need this and this one. So I'm looking at other stuff while they're looking at that. And so they hand me a pile and they say, you don't need these, but you need these. So I take the pile that I need, that I thought they said I needed, set it off to the side, and put the rest back in the thing. Well, somehow, some way, the disconnect, I mixed up the piles.
Oh no.
So you got what you already have.
So I brought these home. I went through them all, and this list, this whole entire pile is all duplicates now. So I'm like, so if anybody needs any of these 73, 74 team stickers, hit me up and I'll see if I can help you out. Also, quarter box, first day issue, Stadium Club. So Kevin Stevens, pretty good one. Another Mario Lemieux insert, some stickers, a gold set Yager. I didn't have the gold set. I don't know why, but I did. Stars of the Game, another insert. Yager owned the game. I didn't have that one, which is weird because I had like tons from there. The watch, the MVP watch insert. Okay, here's something else interesting. So I grabbed this. I'm like, that's a cool card. Set it off to the side, not realizing that it was an actual schedule.
Yeah, I remember this thing. I remember this schedule.
But I do have a small collection of hockey schedules. So this kind of fit my hockey schedule collection. And it's
I have like 7 of those because that year I was really active in writing for player autographs, and every single Ranger I wrote to, except for maybe 1 or 2, my cards would come back unsigned. They would send me a form letter. They would send me an order form to join the Rangers fan club, and they would send me a Rangers pocket schedule. Sometimes they'd send me a postcard of the player that I wrote to, again, unsigned. So I remember like in 96, 97, wrote to Mark Messier, got back an unsigned Mark Messier postcard, the form letter, the kids club membership sign up form, and the Rangers schedule. So yeah, I knew exactly what that was right away. It's a great looking schedule.
So if you got that one, then I'm sure you have this one too.
I don't
the alternate.
Actually.
So this was the alternate schedule, and what cracks me up about this one is, so it's got Gretzky and Lemieux again, or sorry, Gretzky and Messier, but then here they are as teammates over on the side. Here they are as opponents against each other. Here they are as all-star opponents. So I thought that was interesting how they mixed it up a little bit. But that was in the same box. So I was like, I grabbed the one. I might as well grab the other. So those are going in there. Funny story on this one. So Heroes and Prospects, the Ovechkin card from 05, 06. So I guess this would be a pre-rookie, so to speak. Yeah, this was in a $1 box. I don't think it was supposed to be, but it was. So that's the end of that. So I thought that was kind of cool. This is one of my favorite cards I picked up in the game used Forever Rivals. So it's got jersey pieces of Mike Bossy, Anders Hedberg, Bob Nystrom, and Phil Esposito. It's kind of cool.
It's a cool card. Islanders Rangers kind of thing.
I thought it was neat. And I like Hall of Famer stuff. To me, it holds value. There's that phone card again. Some set fillers and some things. Older stuff, Boyer Salming, Lanny McDonald.
Rookie card.
That's his rookie card.
Yeah. These were cheap. These were actually cheap. I paid $2 and then bought 3 of them.
Wow.
So
That's good.
Bobby Clark to go with it. That one's a little banged up, but it still looks decent. I like the color on it. And a Phil and Bobby. That turned out to be an extra because I was looking at the wrong list. So a Pronger auto, which I just traded for a Pronger auto to fill in my Hall of Fame auto collection. And then I found this one dirt cheap. So I'm like, screw it, I'm buying it. So I did. I think it was probably cheap because, as you notice, as in most cases of sticker autos, it goes off the sticker, his signature. So, or maybe they just didn't care about Chris Pronger. But that's one of my favorite ones. Day with the Cup.
Chris Kunitz.
Yeah. I won't tell you what I paid for that because, again, this is a case of I don't know what I have, so it's in a box that it shouldn't be in. Because these days, as everybody knows, the Day with the Cup inserts they go for a lot most of the time. So I like it. I thought it was pretty cool. And then finally, this is the what I was going to share. This is the precursor to what I'm going to show you next. This is the warm-up picture of Tanev, because the first thing I obtained at the show was that card. So it's very Tanev-esque, isn't it? Wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
So that's it. I got a lot of other stuff too. Got a lot of set fillers and things like that. Less interesting type things, but a bunch of young guns to fill in set needs and stuff like that. So,
Real quick, I just want to show the rest of the things that I got. I mean, not everything, but I scanned a bunch of stuff, and I'll just real quick. I'll just go through these. Although some of these you've already seen, so apologies for the repeats. But yeah, I picked up the Stan Mikita 7273 OPC, aka the floating head card, the Team Canada cards. One day I hope to have this set. Right now I'll just pick away one at a time. There's a back of the card, real clean, real nice. Again, the Gump Worsley rookie card that I got, and like I said, I got 12 other cards from this set. Out of 100 cards from 100 cards from 1953-54 Parkhurst, I have 75 out of the 100 cards now. So 25 away. I bought 13 total. So the back of that looks nice. Got a crease on it, but you know what? That's okay because I could afford it. And otherwise, I thought it had nice eye appeal, even though the crease is going right through his eyes, but that's okay. Tim, you'll appreciate this. This is a 54-55 Parkhurst Doug Harvey card. Talk about a player that doesn't get any hobby love, right?
Gotta love Doug Harvey.
Yep, because I got this card. I thought I paid a really good price for it. The edges were nice. It was clean. It's got discoloration like all the old Parkhurst cards do, but overall, I just thought it looked great. So I'm just like, yep, this is coming with me. There's that Jerry McNeil card again. That was kind of an impulse buy because I wanted a Tony Esposito card, a 72-73. I didn't scan it. Didn't matter. I've had the card already. I wanted another one. But this I kind of just threw in on my order to see what the dealer would do. The back of the card looks really clean. Punch Imlach. That is technically his rookie card. Not counting like Sheriff coins or anything, like actual cards. This is his rookie card, 59-60 Parkhurst. Believe it or not, I have this full set. Now I'm upgrading the cards in the set. Very quick story because I know we're running low. This podcast has run really long, but it's been great. I came across a set of 59-60 Parkhurst hockey cards that was missing 5 cards. And the dealer said something to me. This was at a card shop, like maybe 10 years ago, maybe 12 years ago. And he says, "I'll sell you the whole set for $300." And I texted Tim. I said, "Well, what do you think? Should I do this?" Tim texted me back. He's like, "Dude, that's like $5 a card. Do it." So I did. The only problem with each card is they have a little tape mark on the top. That's what I forgot to mention at the top of the story. Whoever owned the set had taped them all in a scrapbook with a single piece of tape on the top so that every card had tape residue. So I have the full set, and then I bought the 5 cards that I needed, and now I'm going and I'm trying to upgrade certain cards. And I saw this, and the price was right. I said, all right, he's in the Hall of Fame. It's his first card, and it'll upgrade the card in my set. Back looked really good. Tiny Thompson from, this is the 60, was that 60-61 tops, I believe, that had like the all-time great subset. 66-67 on Ray Richard tops card. Looks pretty good. 67-68 Frank Mahavlich. This was one of those cards that I just kind of threw in to my order because I was already buying a bunch of stuff, and I was just like, yeah, I'll toss this in because then that'll make the price a little higher. Maybe he'll give me a better price break, whatever, which he did. I'll actually explain the other things that I bought. And there's one of the hockey crests, Bobby Orr, 72-73 OPG hockey player crests. This was an impulse buy. Autograph photo of Dave Boland, but this is the moment he scores the game-winning goal against the Boston Bruins in the 2013 Stanley Cup Final. I mean, this is like that moment in time. This is like, you see he's beating Tuukka Rask. You see the puck is about to go over the goal line. I mean, this was that whole 17 seconds things where the Blackhawks tied and then went ahead in like a 17-second span in Game 6 of the Stanley Cup Finals. So I saw this and I said, oh, this is a great picture. All right, fine. Bought it. Johnny Bauer autograph from 97-98 Pinnacle Beehive set. Oh, picture of Ben Eager signing autographs. I think this is what he was signing for you, Clemente. And then there's one of the Ben Eager, or there's a photo of Ben Eager that I got signed, as well as some cards and a puck. I looked at these chance pictures. But then the last 3 things I want to show are almost last 3 things. 1930s matchbooks. I believe these are 34, 35. I don't know enough about these. I know I don't have any of them. So I was kind of like, all right, Lawrence Shabbat played for the Blackhawks. He's always considered one of like the top 100 NHL players of all time, at least in like the 90s and the early 2000s. Now with guys like McDavid and stuff, probably not. But Shabbat is like, he should be in the Hall of Fame, probably, but he's not. I mean, he always makes these top 10, or not top 10, but like top 20, top 50 lists. He had very good statistics during the original 6 era. But I mean, there were even more teams back then. You had like the St. Louis Eagles and the Pittsburgh Pirates and the Philadelphia Quakers and stuff like that. So I mean, the NHL had up to 12 teams back in like the 30s, you know, New York Americans and stuff. But anyway, so Lawrence Shabbat, I'm like, well, he's a great Blackhawks goalie from the 30s, though he won the cup with other teams, including the Rangers. I'm like, all right, I don't own anything Lawrence Shabbat. Had to get that. Mike Kourakis, who was on the cup-winning, 1 or 2 of the cup-winning teams. I'm not sure, honestly. I know he's on at least 1 cup-winning team, but I don't think I have – I think I have a card of his, but this was just too cool to pass up. The price was right. And then Harold March, who was another star player with the Blackhawks in the 30s. So I saw those, and I'm just like, all right, I need I don't need it, but it was in my wheelhouse, right? The price was right, and it fit in my collection, right? Like I have a hard time paying a lot of money for a card that came out yesterday that, you know, people want hundreds of dollars for. I mean, I understand certain ones, but you know what? Sometimes I just like to look backwards. And then I ended up picking up the last 13 sticker stamps that I needed from the 1970-71 Topps sticker stamp insert set. There were 33 stickers. I already had 20 of them. Then I found 2 of them. Then I found like a whole bunch more. And I said, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to just track down the last 2 that I need. So that's what I did. I bought 2, and then I said, oh my God, I only need 11. And then I was with you guys. We were walking, and then I stopped at a dealer table. You guys kept going. I think you went all the way to the back of the room, or that might have been, no, this was on Sunday. So I stopped. I saw this guy had 70s hockey. He had sticker stamps. I ended up spending a little time looking through what he had and picking up most of them. So I got Tim Ecclestone, Tony Esposito, Ed Giacomin, Danny Grant, Bill Hick, Gordie Howe, Andre Lacroix, Jacques Lemaire, Bobby Orr, Jean-Paul Parish, Frank St. Marseille, Ron Schock, Ed Van Imp. So that was...
You didn't doctor up those skins, did you?
Beg pardon?
I said you didn't doctor up those skins, did you?
I did not. Why?
Those are nice shape.
Yeah.
Usually you find them way off center.
Oh, some of them are off center. I mean, this Van Imp is...
Not by much.
Yeah, I mean, the worst one of the group is the Gordie Howe.
Yeah, you can always tell when they're way off center because the print writing is always like on the edge.
Right.
And a lot of times when you find these cheap, it's because they're way off.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this was one where I think I had one, like Bobby Hull. And then I think I just bought it on a whim, or I think I traded a dealer for it. And then just gradually, like over time, I'd grab one here, I'd grab one there. The price was right. But you know what? I mean, now I'm kind of at that point in my life where I could be like, all right, yeah, one of them is $50, but it's Bobby Orr. Okay. Yeah, it's a Bobby Orr collectible from 1971. It's not a $5 card. I know that, right? You know that, right? So, I mean, we all know that. So, but I was buying a bunch of other ones too, like some of the non-star players. So, yeah, that was cool. So it was really cool that I finished my 70-71 Topps sticker stamp set. And then I picked up the full 72-73 OPC player crests insert set. And then, picked away at the 53-54 Parkhurst set and some of the other goodies and odds and ends. And, there's other stuff too, but you don't need to see every single card that I bought, because maybe not every single card that I bought is, I guess it could be interesting to someone, but, we just wanted to focus on the best stuff. So anyway, I think I'm out of things to talk about. You guys have any last thoughts? Because this has been a long episode, but this has been a good episode.
I guess we'll tell by how many people actually listen.
Oh, and actually how many people watch, because this is going to go up as the video because we had lots of things to show. Normally, when I post this to YouTube, it's just a static image. And this time I thought, you know what? Let's.
So that means you have to say things like and subscribe.
Right? Oh, I say that anyways.
Yeah. So yeah, so you have to say that on video for sure. But no, it was a really good national. It was a lot of fun. It was great to see you guys in person, hang out, get great cards. I guess the countdown to the next one starts now. So it's going to be, I think the national's entering a new era. It's going to be in Chicago 2 more years. We should mention at least that they voted to be in Detroit in 2028. So that'll be interesting after 3 years in Chicago. What we'll get in Detroit, I don't know, but Detroit's a hockey town, so I'm excited about that prospect. I know that's far off into the future, but better than going to Atlanta, I guess.
Yeah,
I was going to say Atlanta in the last week of July, first week of August.
Right.
That sounds brutal.
Pass. Hard. No.
Brutal.
And the dealers thought the same thing. So.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what? It was fun to hang out. Clemente, it was fun to hang out with you for 5 days, get dinner a couple of those nights, and, just kind of just have somebody to pal around with at the show. That's something else I should have mentioned. This is probably the first national I've gone to as a fan where I actually had friends. Well, no, I take that back, because Tim, you and I know we met up at the 2011 national, 2013, 2015, 2017, and 2019. So you'd come in for like 1 day, 2 days maybe. But Clemente was there for all 5 days, and then you were there for 2 days. So it was cool. It was like it was more fun.
Yeah, and you didn't have a table. We should remind people that. So you had no table, so you were out there with us.
I was a free agent. I was a man without a country, as I jokingly said, right? As I dropped my bags off at my friend's booth, and
you were Tom Hanks in the terminal, but you were, you were.
Wow,
Sal
what a
walking around
reference!
the National.
Yeah, that reference went over my head, but that's okay.
That's a movie, but it's okay.
All right. Well, I think we're going to end it here. So thank you for listening and watching the Puck Junk Hockey Podcast. As always, if you've enjoyed the show, please be sure to like and subscribe. You can find the subscribe button down there when you're listening to this as a podcast. I don't know where the subscribe button is, but it's one of those buttons somewhere on the interface. So please click on that because subscriptions help, likes help. If you want to support this podcast, you can do so by purchasing a t-shirt at shop.puckjunk.com. And if you like to read, you could subscribe to the newsletter at puckjunk.com/newsletter. And until next time, collect what you like.